14 people, including players and coaches, have tested positive for COVID-19. Game is off tonight against your Phillies, I believe, correct?
Well, no, the Phillies game
the Phillies,
also
that's right.
delayed because
it
they were
is delayed.
supposed to play the Yankees.
Yeah, that's right. So Miami was going to open up at home tonight. That game is canceled. Phillies, Yankees, canceled. Major League Baseball meeting right now, emergency meeting. Going to try to get ahead of this a little bit. Chaos.
Is football the
Oh,
NFL?
Here we go. Here we go, Coos. Here we go, drinking that Kool-Aid.
But are they sitting there going, there's no way we can do this then?
Listen, we'll dive into that here, I think, in a little bit, or maybe right now, depending on what Brent wants to do. But, yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're a fan of football, this turns you off a little bit, right? This kind of deters you a little bit because we're in week 1 of baseball right now. Okay, this is the opening week, and we have 14 people with that organization getting sick. So, of course, you should be worried about it a little bit. And keep in mind, this isn't a bubble situation right now like the NBA or the NHL. Like, ideally, if you're talking about the NBA right now, they have the perfect scenario, right? I mean, yeah, of course, Lou Williams got in trouble. We'll get into that later as well. But I think the model the NBA is doing right now in terms of the bubble, that's what you want. But the problem is, because you cannot do that for the NFL players. You just can't. There's too many people. They don't have enough resources to do that. So you can't have the bubble in place for really baseball or football. And now we're seeing, well, that might be a problem going forward.
Yeah, I think it's really hard to do it in football. You could have done it in baseball, though. Mm-hmm. You could have done it. And maybe that's where they made a mistake, is because you could have done the Arizona-Florida thing, where there's plenty of ballparks. Sure. I mean, we play on facilities where you got 4 fields going at one time. I mean, so you can do it, especially with no fans in there. So, it might not have been as good, and people thought in the Major League Baseball that it might be the best way to just keep them close to home. And listen, I think there's a bit of overreaction today as well. We don't know where this is going. Could this be more of an isolated outbreak for one team, and then the rest kind of calms down? Or they don't tell us about them. Yeah. I mean, we'll see. So we'll see where it goes. But no doubt the NFL's watching, college football's watching, because they fit the Major League Baseball model much more than they fit MLS and NBA, NASCAR, golf, all the rest of them. They do, because they're going to be traveling around. And there's really no other way to do it. You can't find – heck, you probably can go to some high school team in Texas, or a couple of them, and just go on their fields and play. They probably have plenty of facilities. Hey, I was up in Hoover. They had a varsity and JV football. Yeah. So maybe you can do it that way. But it's going to be really difficult to do that. They have to keep their fingers crossed. The good news for football continues to be you have more time. I mean, it's still 6 weeks away. Even more than that, really. 6 weeks away. Now, you got to get going and ramp up and kind of keep you have to make your own bubble, essentially, with your players. That's what the NFL has to learn from this, is they have to make their own bubble in their facility. And that's what they've tried to do with the protocols. We'll see if they work. Are they enough? And did Major League Baseball do enough to do that? Or were there some rogue players that went out, already had it? Very hard to tell. And, from the testing standpoint, you can get tested, not get the result, play a game, then get the result. Well, you've already interacted now with a lot of people. And so now you're handing it off to others. So we'll see where it goes. Major League Baseball has got a bit of an issue after the opening. We thought we'd come in here and talk about the opening weekend in baseball, which wasn't bad, which had its ups and downs. And I think one of the most amazing stats of all time does it show the game of baseball? Does it show parity? Is that nobody got swept? Nobody got swept. For the first time since 1954, the opening weekend, everybody has a win in Major League Baseball.
And no one's undefeated either, right?
Nobody's undefeated. Nobody's winless. So everybody's got a W after the first weekend. It's the first time since 54, and I think I read today there were 16 teams in 54. So think about that. I mean, it's really an amazing statistic, and shows, I think it's more the sport of baseball. It's hard to sweep a team. Doesn't matter how bad you are. I mean, look at the Orioles. They took 2 out of 3. The Red Sox aren't supposed to be great. But look at the Phillies and Marlins. Marlins took 2 out of 3, and Phillies are supposed to be pretty good. And also, it's just no reason to panic. If you're a Phillies fan, you still might have a great season.
I've already jumped ship. I'm over the season.
Let's go 76ers.
You're on Ben Simmons hit a 3, and you're already on to it. let's be honest, you were always ready for the 76ers.
That's true.
Before the Phillies. Philly Fanatic, by the way, doing the wave by himself. Did you see that?
I did
There
not
were
see
a
that.
lot of really depressing photos of the Philly Fanatic sitting by himself, dressed as Santa on Christmas in July.
Yeah. I saw putting on the cardboard cutout. I think it was the Philly Fanatic who did the shaving cream in the face of one of the cardboard
Okay,
cutouts.
yeah.
So they're having some fun with it. I love the cardboard cutouts. I still love them.
Yeah, you do.
And they're not even that expensive in some places. I
Yeah.
might just start buying them all around Major League Baseball.
Do what you got to do, man.
That's if they have it.
Listen, and far be it from me to complain about the first weekend of baseball. It was great to watch sports again, live team sports, if you will. But I do have one. Well, I got a couple complaints. Obviously, the computer generated, the AI crowd freaked me out a little bit because like half the innings they had them, half the innings they weren't using them, and then when they're using them, the commentators were making fun of them the whole time. So it kind of defeated the purpose.
Yeah.
But like my big issue, and I'm not sure how it's working, but obviously they're pumping crowd noise into it. So whenever, like for instance, so it was the Cubs Brewers this past weekend, okay? Cubs are at home. When a Cubs player was up to bat, regardless if it was like a pop fly or a home run, the crowd reaction was the same. So all of a sudden, like a Cubs player would hit the ball, pop fly, but all of a sudden the crowd just goes, woo! I'm like, is that a home run?
Yeah.
And no, it was like a routine pop fly in the infield.
Yeah.
But like the way the reaction garnered, it was like, oh, great home run again. But it wasn't. So like that kind of threw me off for a bit of a loop because obviously when the crowd cheers, you expect it to be a good hit or a home run.
I did say one time to the kids, I'm like, you almost don't even realize there's no fans there when they do put the crowd noise in, if it's appropriate.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of subtle. It's very subtle, and you don't really get the sense that watching baseball, at least, like that the stands are empty until you watch the wide shot. They keep showing these wide shots of the stadiums, and it's almost like, my goodness, that must be so depressing for the owners.
They had a point where
a lot of money.
with the Phillies where the pitcher threw it back to first base and they actually had the crowd boo, and I was like, oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, the guy's got to be really on it, right?
Yeah.
They got to be really on it.
That's somebody's job.
It'd be a great story.
Oh, that's
Sitting there
someone's
with that
job,
guy.
though.
Just have a soundboard to press it.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a great story. How about you? What's up with the players?
What's up?
The back and forth nature of the players. Holy cats, is it raining out?
Raining.
I mean, I got stuck out. We went for a walk before the show. I got stuck out there, absolutely drenched. And then coming up, it's been raining hard for like an hour and a half, wherever I am at least. I don't know if that's for everybody, but wherever I am.
Yeah.
Definitely the first I saw it rain.
Be
today.
careful out there. Put your hazards on,
There
as
we-
they say.
No, don't do that. Dude,
No,
that's-
don't do that.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
illegal.
no, yeah.
Come on, Brent. What are you talking about, man? You can't do that.
If you're going to pull over?
No, we're not supposed to put your hazards on in a rainstorm.
Oh, well, I
can't do
meant
that.
if you're going off to the side. Up to the
okay.
side. Yeah.
I got you. I thought you meant if you're
No, I don't
driving,
put
you
my
put your
hazard-
hazard.
no, you can't do that.
No, don't do that. That's illegal.
But it's hard to
You get a
see
ticket
in
for
front of
that.
you, man. You
It
gotta
is.
if you're gonna pull off to that side, you better get over there.
Get way over.
And be way over.
Yep.
So the LeVeon Bell and Jamal Adams go after it.
Sure.
Keenan Allen says, "I am the greatest player
debatable.
of them all."
Yeah.
Kenny Rogers.
Yeah, I got you.
And Mike Evans says, "Hold the phone."
Check my stats real quick.
And
Yeah.
the stats actually do show Evans.
Well, yeah,
in
there you
good
go. I
light.
mean, stats is all you need, right?
What is up with you, modern day
What,
athletes?
you? What? I'm sorry. I'm
I thought
talking
we were
to you.
about to get at you people.
Yeah.
What is
yeah.
up with you modern day athletes? Like, do you not get enough love? I mean, is there just not enough attention going around? Did you miss football season that much and everybody's going to say, hey, look at me. I'm the best? I mean, do you really have to do that, Keenan Allen? And then the
Listen.
Jamal Adams, Le'Veon Bell thing's a different situation.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see the Keenan Allen thing and now the back and forth.
Listen, which would usually take place in a group text or maybe in a social setting can now take place on social media. It's as simple as that. So, like, do I really think Keenan Allen and Mike Evans are jawing on purpose and, like, will eventually come to a fight? I doubt it, okay? We see this everywhere. We see this with rappers. We see it with football players. We see it with the celebrities. This is a good way to generate hype, to start talking about people. Let's be honest right now. In terms of Keenan Allen, fantastic wide receiver. I don't think he really gets the credit that he deserves
That's
because,
true.
maybe it's a West Coast bias, whatever the reason is, but he hasn't got a lot of notoriety, let's just say, the past 3 or 4 years. Now, injury has something to do with that as well, but he's a great wide receiver in his own right. The problem is, though, no one's talking about him. So, if you're Keenan Allen and you call out Godwin and you call out Mike Evans, well, guess what? Now we're talking about you. Welcome to the ESPN 690 brand, Keenan Allen in Jacksonville. Now we're talking about you. I think it's a genius marketing move on his part, and I'm sure this is all staged. Don't drink the Kool-Aid, Brent.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Yeah, I say it. My first reaction is, wow, I mean, these guys can't get enough of this. You know, it's just back and forth. Then my second reaction is, I do think it's an actual ploy, intentional to get the attention. And then I actually believe, and I'll take it right back home, for a guy who never got enough credit and a guy who deserved so much credit than he got, and still to this day, is Fred Taylor.
Yeah.
And so if you kind of look at Keenan Allen and where he's coming from, like if there was social media when Fred was playing and he could have actually built his brand bigger, you know, because of social media or because brands were a bigger thing, well, then maybe more people would have taken notice. Maybe more people would take notice and look at the totality of his career and say he's a Hall of Famer. He's got Hall of Fame credentials. He needs consideration for the Hall of Fame. Kind of what Fred came out and did last year when they had the vote for the top 25 players, and he was like, whoa, don't forget, I've had a great career, man. I'm Canton worthy. And I think he's right if you look at the numbers, but nobody even discusses it or talks about it. So it's interesting where my mind went on the Keenan Allen stuff. I equated it to more like the Fred Taylor situation. If he were playing today, he could help build his brand. Keenan Allen may be doing a little bit of that because you're right. Allen is up there, but nobody mentions him. Like, you could list 10 receivers, and I don't think I'd come up with Allen. And it's not because he doesn't deserve it or hasn't earned it, just because he's kind of out of sight, out of mind.
Well, and to be fair, too, with Keenan Allen, I mean, he is kind of surrounded by offensive weapons there in L.A. I mean, you used to have Melvin Gordon. You had Austin Eckler. You had Hunter Henry. You had Antonio Gates back in the day. So, like, he was surrounded by a pretty high-powered offense, and also Phillip Rivers, to say the least. So, to me, it was always hard for him to get his shine just because you play with so many great superstars on the offensive side of the ball. To prove Fred Taylor's point, though, that was a different era completely, right? Where even when Fred Taylor and the Jaguars did have success, and maybe they played in some primetime games, I think back then it was hard for you to get, it was hard for you to get your just due if you played on a small market team. Now, I think nowadays with social media and the way like the NFL Network covers it, ESPN covers it, if you're a great player, you will get your just due. But unfortunately for Fred Taylor, maybe even Tony Baselli, they played in the wrong era where I don't think the Jaguars got enough just due, even for as good as they were doing. And obviously now you got them, kind of speaking out saying, hey, let's get these guys the Hall of Fame. They deserve it.
Do you think Keenan Allen is a top 10 wide receiver? Is he with those guys, the Evanses of the world, the Julio Jones, the A.J. Greens? I mean, because got to remember one thing as we compare a little bit of the situation to Fred. Fred was in an era of fantastic running backs. And so there were so many good ones. You didn't put Fred at the top because of Jacksonville small market, because of maybe the lack of Pro Bowls, and because of other circumstances. I think he could have got more love in today's world, if you will.
Yeah. You're asking me, do I think he's a top 10 guy right now? I'm going to say no. No, I'd probably put Keenan Allen top 15, but I'm not putting him top 10.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And some say him and that he might be the best route runner there is.
Sure.
That's obviously his skill set. I'm surprised by Rivers, although Rivers kind of, because he disappointed, maybe Rivers didn't elevate him more. Like Manning elevated Harrison and Reggie Wayne. They were kind of unassuming guys, really. They were very talented guys, but like Reggie Wayne, very quiet guy. From the outside, that's what it felt like. And Manning's getting all the love, but he elevated their status so much. Not to say they're not deserving of everything they got, but they elevated it. Rivers kind of had the chance to do that, but I don't know if he ever did. I think him and Gates are more of a combination than maybe anybody else on that team, to your point, rather than even Gordon or Eckler or Allen himself.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good call. Like, when you think back of the Chargers receivers, like, yeah, you had Mike Williams who could take the top off, but overall, I mean, it was the Keenan Williams show in terms of receiving because Hunter Henry has generally been hurt the past couple years as well. When Antonio Gates, and like, obviously Antonio Gates was the guy. So, to me, it wasn't like Keenan Allen didn't get his fair share of footballs. I just think that Keenan Allen, his style and the opposite that the Chargers ran, he ran out of the slot a lot, so it was like these short crossing routes. So he got a lot of receptions, but as far as those big play yardage, those touchdowns, those went to other players. So once again, like, I think Keenan Allen is a pretty darn good receiver. I'd probably put him top 15 at the very, back end, the top 20, and he's safe there. But I don't think he's warranted to talk smack to Chris Godwin. I don't think he's warranted right now to talk smack to Mike Evans, or I think Tyreek Hill as well, didn't he?
He did, but
yeah.
I mean, I would say Keenan Allen's a better player, in my opinion, and without looking up numbers, than Godwin. I mean, Evans has the numbers to back it up. Evans feels like he's like right on the outside of maybe those elite players.
Sure.
And his numbers did showcase it. But I don't know. I mean, I would put Keenan Allen above Godwin in a heartbeat. I know there's a 1-2 punch now in Tampa, but I don't think of Godwin at all when I think of good receivers in the game. I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying he doesn't come to my mind at all.
Keep in mind, he had 1,300 yards last year, 9 touchdowns, and he's a Pro Bowler.
That sounds like a typical Keenan Allen year, though, is my point.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure what Keenan Allen. I can look up Keenan Allen's stats last year.
It might not be. It might be off a little bit.
Yeah. There's 1,300 yards and 9 touchdowns compared to Keenan Allen last year, who had 1,200 yards and 6 touchdowns.
Okay.
So, and keep in mind, Keenan Allen's never had over 8 touchdowns in his career. I mean, per season.
Per season,
yeah,
from a touchdown base.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Jamal Adams, LeVeon Bell. There's a lot to dissect on the Jamal Adams front. Who won the trade? Was it a terrible trade for Seattle? Did Jets have to do it? How does the whole situation kind of feel amongst the Yannick Ngakoue talk as well, or even the Jalen Ramsey talk? This one had a feel of like kind of hit home a little bit when Jamal Adams got traded over the weekend. We discussed that and then the back and forth between Bell. That one did not seem orchestrated. That one's pretty interesting. Some drama flying on social media amidst players in the last couple of days in the NFL. So much to get to here on a Monday. Be safe out there. It's a rainy one, at least where we are in Jacksonville. Hope you had a good weekend, everybody. We'll keep you updated on Major League Baseball, the latest on the NFL, and it should be a big week for college football to boot. It's all on the way. Join the conversation, 904-362-9901, star 690 here on a Monday on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly sunny, hot and humid today with midday and afternoon showers and storms. Highs in the low 90s, dropping into the mid-70s tonight. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jacksonville on the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where for a limited time, you can get 5 years, 0 interest financing. You don't want just any old sale. You want the biggest sale with the biggest savings ever, right? Then you need to see my friends at Arlington Toyota today, because they're having the one big-time sales event. Want low payments and 0 down? Then get to Arlington now, because during the big-time sale, they have over 100 quality pre-owned cars you can buy at 0 down and $199 a month. That's no money down and $199 a month for over 100 pre-owned vehicles. How about choosing from 50 quality pre-owned trucks and SUVs that you can buy at 0 down and just $269 a month? That's no money down and $269 a month with over 50 pre-owned trucks and SUVs. Plus, with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everybody approved. You even get Arlington's 30-day exchange policy for total peace of mind. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. What are you waiting for? It's the one big-time sales event going on now at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/big-time sale for full details.
With COVID-19, more local families than ever need food. Our seniors require extra support, and kids stuck at home could use something to smile about. A gift in any amount will make a big difference, especially when you give through Jewish Family and Community Services. Thanks to the Max Block Food Pantry Matching Challenge, your donation will automatically double. Jewish Family and Community Services. Here for hunger, here for Jacks. Learn more at hereforjacks.com.
There's a new modern patient-centered orthopedic practice in Jacksonville.
We believe that the patient pays money for a doctor and should be seen by a doctor.
Ortho Edge.
They're getting the most technologically available medicine there is.
Ortho Edge.
You're going to get a much better experience with your physician. We all see our patients.
Get the answers right away and more focused care and patients.
Find out more about us at orthoedge.com.
Ortho Edge. We're in the DePaul building attached to St. Vincent's Medical Center, Riverside.
The summer shower of savings continue. Right now at Beard's Diamonds, get 5 years, 0 interest, plus no money down on any purchase.
This is the best deal of the summer.
Take advantage of Beard's lowest prices in North Florida on diamonds.
How about a $6,000 Tacori or Veragio ring? You pay just $100 a month. Or a pair of diamond studs for $3,000? You pay just $50 a month.
Come in, see the difference. Save thousands.
Beard's Diamonds, located at the St. John's Town Center.
Being in the Army National Guard is about more than serving your country. It's about being there for your community when your neighbors need you most. The Army National Guard makes college affordable, and serving part-time can help you graduate debt-free. Do you want to stay close to friends and family? The Guard allows you to serve close to home. Serving part-time in the Army National Guard lets you have the life you want. Learn more by visiting nationalguard.com.
Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard. Aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Security experts recommend that if you have a do-it-yourself alarm, don't use their alarm signs or stickers. Why? Because it tells crooks exactly which system you have, and some signals can be jammed with a common garage door opener. Yes, the equipment is built that cheap. It's not been tested by UL Laboratories, and the DIY company selling it has no license. They use a third party. It just doesn't measure up. That's why thousands of business owners and families trust SafeTouch Security. All SafeTouch systems are custom designed for each installation and installed by state-certified technicians and are covered by a lifetime warranty. The SafeTouch two-way communicator provides the fastest possible response time with an 8-second average. All monitoring is done from the SafeTouch 24-hour monitoring center, giving you peace of mind for you and your family. SafeTouch Security has been protecting you and your family like no one else for 35 years. Go to safetouch.com today for a free home consultation. State license number EF0000233.
I call them 3 shirt days. That's when the summer heat in Jacksonville just sizzles. It's relentless, and you want to be prepared for it. Bold City Heating and Air will help you do that. Nothing worse than sweating in your own home and wondering, hey, what happened to the AC? We've been there before. Your air conditioning unit needs to be ready for the heat. It might need to get serviced. The hot weather is here, and Bold City Heating and Air is here for you, just like they have been for my family the last couple of years. Right now, it's $25 off an annual maintenance. Bold City will thoroughly service, clean, and test your system to ensure it is working efficiently. Then you'll be comfortable this summer, all summer. After the $25 off, it's just $70. Book your maintenance service now and save. Save now, beat the heat. Visit boldcityac.com or call 904-379-1648 to schedule. Mirza and his staff are ready to take care of you and your family. Be bold and beat the heat and make it a one-shirt day, even in the summer heat. Go to boldcityac.com. Deep into the summer months in Northeast Florida, hotter weather means your family should be drinking more water, more clean water. With a Kinetico system from CGC Water, they remove up to 99% of contaminants. That's clean water. CGC Water is offering a free A200 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier softener. Kinetico Premier softeners are non-electric and have twin tanks, making them super efficient, saving you money. Schedule your free water test today. Get peace of mind knowing your family's water is safe water. CGC is taking extra precautions with in-home visits following CDC guidelines, including no contact sales and service appointments, with all employees wearing masks and gloves at all times, and employee temperature checks every morning before they send out their team into your home. Remember, a free A200 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier softener. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer.
Boating with friends and family is enjoyable and the ultimate in safe social distancing. Yamaha Marine Center in Orange Park on Wells Road has one of the best lineups of premium boat brands, including Pursuit and Regulator, and the best-selling boats in Florida, Key West Boats. Visit YamahaMarineJacks.com to find your boat today. Yamaha Marine Center provides award-winning customer service before and after the sale. Let them help you find the right boat for your adventures. Yamaha Marine Center on Wells Road in Orange Park. Visit YamahaMarineJacks.com.
They're breaking all the rules at Diamonds Direct with an unprecedented store-wide sale going on now. Save 20% and more on an expanded selection. Rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, including trunk loads of all new designer pieces flown in from around the world. But hurry, this first time ever 11-day sale ends this Sunday. In-store, online, and virtual. All options open. All merchandise included. Even thousands of engagement rings on sale. An extraordinary sale for an extraordinary time. 20% savings now through Sunday only. Only at Diamonds Direct.
Off Town Center Parkway.
See, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
You like money. I suggest you get your voice looked at.
It's allergy season. It seems to be always allergy season, Stugatz.
That's because it is. The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
It's definitely a high level of concern, but as of right now, I know we're still going to go about our regular, schedules. Just going to be getting tested a lot. They're going to be taking very, very high precautions when it comes to how we go about things in the building with social distancing and things like that. So hopefully everything goes well with that, and we all follow the precautions that we need to take.
That is Jaguars right tackle, second-year player Jawan Taylor, talking about this upcoming season. And certainly Major League Baseball, the Marlins, what's going on there? The game's being canceled today and tomorrow. Also a game between the Phillies and Yankees being canceled tonight because the Phillies played the Marlins. That has to catch the attention of everybody in sports right now. And a reminder that you got to stay in the bubble. I mean, or you got to be cautious and you got to be careful of where you go and what you do if you want to play. That's the thing. You need such a buy-in. In a strange way, it's like I don't know if the NFL can sit here and tell me where to go and how to live and all that stuff like every minute of the day. But at the same time, if you agreed to all these things and you bought in, well, then you bought in. Well, and you know you gotta do certain things and avoid other things if you want to have a full season. I say that the NFL, I mean that with everybody. MLB also agreed, NBA also agreed. I mean, there is their responsibility, even though I don't know how I feel about the NFL being like, you have to sit in your hotel all day long if you're not at the field. Like, you can't do that necessarily.
Do you want to go over the protocol then that was released regarding of where players can and cannot go regarding in their free time real quick? All right, so this was put out by the NFL and the NFLPA, taken off ESPN.com. Per memo of the NFL defines high-risk conduct as attending an indoor nightclub with more than 15 people, an indoor bar with more than 15 people other than to pick up food, an indoor house party with more than 15 people, an indoor music concert entertainment event with more than 15 people, a professional sporting event other than applicable NFL games or events with more than 15 people, an indoor religious service attended by more than 25% of the venue's capacity.
So basically they're saying you can't go to anything that's good because
over 15 people.
Most maybe it's not a great bar if it's open to everybody and there's only 15 people, or nightclub.
Do you think Publix has more than 15 people at a time? A grocery store?
I would say so.
I would say so too.
So do you not like those restrictions? Do you think they shouldn't be allowed to say that?
Oh, no. I mean, go ahead and say it. Go ahead and put it out there for everyone to see. Doesn't mean players are going to follow it.
No, but you can also get your groceries delivered or pick them up if you want. There's other ways to do it. You can't go to a nightclub in various fashions unless you go to that Houston one where there's a drive-through.
Yeah, for sure.
Be a good excuse to tell your significant other, hey, I can't go grocery shopping.
Yes.
Like, you have to do it now.
Listen, Brent, you know where I
went
stand
to the
on this,
drive-through.
man.
Drive-through what? Drive-through strip club. Oh.
Yeah. Listen, you know where I stand on this? Whether it's the NBA bubble or whether it's the NFL players coming up now, players are going to do what they want to do, okay? Regardless of if there's a championship on the line, regardless of how much money you can possibly make, players aren't going to be restricted and feel like they're in quote-unquote a prison. They're just not going to do it. And these rules right here put up by the NFLPA and the NFL, and I get it. The players agreed to them. Doesn't mean I see them following them. Just saying that.
Well, it's a long season. I think you could even I think we're all guilty of it to some degree. Once you in any walk of life, once you feel you might go by the rules on hardcore for a little bit, and then all of a sudden you feel like, okay, everything's pretty good shape. You kind of relax. You subconsciously even relax it.
Sure.
Right? I think we've probably all done that to a degree over the last 5 or 6 months. We're like, okay, I haven't got it. Everything's kind of opening back up. And then you kind of catch yourself. I mean, I've caught myself going, it's like, going to pump gas. Oh, let me get gloves on or hand sanitizer on or a towel or whatever it is. Going into a place now, I mean, I forgot my mask, got to turn back around. You're still not used to some of those things. So you can kind of subconsciously relax it anyway. And I think we even might have seen it in baseball this weekend. Did they start off so conscientious of it, on Friday or Thursday night when it got going? But by Sunday, they're like, all right, well, we're we're kind of in our own little world here. It's baseball, high five, those things. I mean, you relax it. And so through the course of the season, I think there will be so much attention on this through the first few days, first few weeks, even when we get to games, the first couple weeks. But then will it relax at all is kind of the point to over 15 people. How do things change? And what does it look like in 2 months is also a fair question.
Absolutely. But keep in mind, too, it's not just you abiding by these rules. It's the people that you live with as well, whether it's a roommate, whether it's a spouse. I mean, then you're asking your spouse, hey, don't go anywhere with more than 15 people in it because I don't want to get sick. So to me, you're asking a lot of people. And once again, probably 75% of those people will abide by the rules, and they'll take it 100% seriously, and they'll say, you know what, I don't want to be the reason why the NFL gets shut down. So I'm going to play ball here, and I'm going to follow the rules. And there's going to be those outliers out there that still want to do their thing, still have fun. They're young. Well, Lou Williams isn't that young. We'll get into that later, but it is what it is. But there's those guys out there that still want to kind of, and I guess, reap the benefits of being in the NFL. Let's just say that. Or reap the benefits of playing professional sports. And one of those benefits, obviously, is clubbing and going out and having a good time. And I think if you're the NFL, you can go ahead and put this on paper and say, follow these rules. But once I said, I don't think everyone's going to be following those rules.
Hey, Jamal Adams traded to the Seattle Seahawks. Who got the better of the trade? And were you surprised by the trade?
Surprised by the trade? No. What Seattle gave up a little bit, but I think it's a push. Like everyone's saying, oh, Seattle gave up 2 first-round picks. What is Seattle thinking? No. I think Seattle did a fantastic job because we talk about when you're right on the cusp of going to a Super Bowl, you add those last few pieces to try to make that run. Right now, you got Russell Wilson in his prime. Right now, you have a defense that's in need of kind of like that old school Legion of Boom type of player. Jamal Adams is that. Don't tell me that, oh, he's a safety. You're going to pay that much for a safety? You're going to sacrifice that much for a safety? Ed Reed did pretty good at safety for the Baltimore Ravens. Got him pretty far. Troy Polamalu got the Steelers pretty far. I think Jamal Adams is that talented where that could be the difference maker on defense where the Seattle Seahawks can go to the playoffs to go to a Super Bowl. So I absolutely love the trade. And now let me ask you this question too, Brent. In terms of, well, you gave up 2 first-round picks for him. How could you sacrifice that? Okay, well, check this out real quick. Would you trade Calvin Ridley and Montez Sweat for Jamal Adams?
I would say yes.
Absolutely,
they were
right?
picked, 26th?
And this is my point. You have to think if you're the Seahawks right now, in terms of those picks that you're giving up, those are going to be deeper in the draft picks. Now, I understand there's still first-round picks, but for the past 2 years in the draft, I went back and I looked at picks 20 through 32. And the best players that I could find in that draft range was Montez Sweat and Calvin Ridley. Those are the best. Don't keep in mind the average players or the below-average players. Those were the best 2 players from 20 to 32 taken those years. So with that being said, I would easily sacrifice those 2 guys. No respect to Calvin Ridley, could have a big year this year, but I would sacrifice those 2 guys in a heartbeat to get an all-pro like Jamal Adams.
Yeah, listen, I'm probably in the boat that says, hey, safety is a good position, and yes, there have been historical references to very good safeties, and Cam Chancellor, by the way, in Seattle is one of them that helped that defense be as good as it was. Polamalu is a good one. I would say Tyrann Mathieu even is a guy that's helped change some teams that he's been on most recently. And Earl Thomas, different kind of safety position. But so, yeah, Ed Reed, you have the examples of it. And I do think what you have to be, you get carried away with first round, but Seattle's first round is almost automatically in the second half of the first round. And I would say high percentage-wise, in the last 8 picks of the first round, or last 10 picks, let's just say that. So to your point, 20 to 32 is a good spot to kind of look at and break this down. So, yeah, at first sight, it's like, whoa, for that position, because the 2 monster trades we've seen in the last year are Laramie Tunsil, left tackle, Jalen, corner. Those are high priority positions. Even Khalil Mack, defensive end, high priority positions. Not safety. And you would get pretty far down the list before you say, I need a blockbuster safety to go to a Super Bowl. I just think you would, or to build my team, I think it would be pretty far down the list.
Sure.
But I think when you do characterize it as, hey, it might be pick 24 and might be pick 28, well, that makes some sense. I do think both teams won here. I think you were probably going to get rid of a guy like Adams anyway. What's really interesting is who knows if Adam Gase will even be there for a long time or for a couple more years. And obviously calling Gase out was the last straw and really got the ball moving. But I don't think the Jets will win long term in that sense because I don't see Gase there for 5 years, and Adams could have been there for 5 years on a long-term deal. That's my point. But now they just have to go replenish and pick well, much like the Jags. You know, the criticism will come with, okay, but who's making the picks, and will those picks be any good? That's fair criticism because look at the Jets. They've traded away like 5 out of their last 6 first-round picks, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
A lot like the Jags. The Jets and the Jags look a lot alike in the first round on what they've done with their first-round picks.
It's funny because every monumental trade that's taken part in the offseason here leading up to the training camp, I always think back to DeAndre Hopkins and what you got for him. Like, once again, I mean, props to the Cardinals, man, because, you know, trading a David Johnson and then a second-round pick, yeah, there you go. But to me, this is, you know, to me, it deserves a golf clap for the Seattle Seahawks, because we always talk about if you want to go to the Super Bowl, guess what? You have to win your division, okay? And I think right now, while the NFC West is probably the most competitive division in all of football, to me, the road still goes to the 49ers, okay? It does. And if you look at the 49ers and what they bring to the table, a great offensive line, pounding the rock, well, the Seahawks had to address that. So why not get the best safety in football? Why not get like another box linebacker who can come down on the line of scrimmage and lay the wallop, you know, on those 49ers running backs? I'm all for it. And then keep in mind, too, the Rams this year might look a little different as well. We're not going to go so much trips and spread formation. The Rams this year could use a lot more 2 tight end sets and be a little more conservative of their offensive play calling. Therefore, safety benefits you there as well. So to me, this is Pete Carroll looking at the division right now and saying, you know what? It's a tough division. Once again, we have Russell Wilson right now. We got DK Metcalf going forward. We have some pretty good pieces on offense. Our defense down a little bit. Pass rushing still a question mark, but we need that guy to put us over the top on defense. And I think Jamal Adams can do that not only in the passing game, but also in the run game as well.
Well, we talked about this situation on Friday, by the way, before he got traded on Saturday, and it said how much value a guy has. Jalen Ramsey, we talked about before, Laramie Tunsil, Khalil Mack, and now Jamal Adams getting this much attention. Somebody will come in and get a great player. And it does spin back to me about the Jan situation. It's like, what would be enough for Jan right now, the way he values himself, his camp values him, and kind of put that out there. And I think the Jags value him as a player and want in return. And what are people not willing to give up? Because Seattle, by the way, is a team that could have used a pass rusher. They, instead of getting Clowney or trading for Jan, use some of their draft capital to go get maybe the best safety in football, which also makes some sense. It probably was worth the wait in their mind. But again, not as premium a position as pass rusher. And Jan would fit their system perfectly, too. So what will it take? Again, I thought the Jamal Adams trade was really interesting because, one, it was like the Jalen Ramsey one in terms of the capital given up. 2, it included Seattle, who might have had interest in a guy like Yannick Ngakoue, and there were some rumors floated around at one time or another that they did. And then what does it mean for the Jags and Jan, and how stuck is Jan and what kind of capital are they going to demand? I mean, if you see these bigger trades, again, I'm not saying Jan is in the category of Jamal Adams, but to me, these kind of trades, when you're getting this kind of return, kind of drives the price tag up even from the Jags' point of view to say, hey, well, we want at least this, and we're not getting the offers.
Well, and let me ask you this, Brent, because you come from the school of thought right now that Shad Khan is the last guy that's just going to let a player go just because he wants to be gone, right? He's going to put his foot in the dirt. He's going to make a point and say, no, this is not how it works. You just don't have free reign. You can leave whenever you want to. It has to be worth it. So with that being said right now, do you think the past, let's go all the way back to when Jan was kind of complaining, I think there was that Indianapolis game kind of towards the end of the season, saying that he wanted out, put up the checkered flag on Twitter. Do you think from that time until now, 7/27/2020, do you think the Jacksonville Jaguars have been offered a first-round pick for Yannick Ngakoue at all?
Ooh, I don't.
You don't think so?
First-round pick.
And I mean, I don't know either.
I hesitate. I hesitate to say no. My quick answer is no. I hesitate to say no because if you take me back to December, January, February, as you lead into the new league year, I wondered if it was first round. Remember, a lot of conversations were first round pick and something else.
Correct.
But I'm telling you, man, I think there's been offers. I think there's been calls. I think there's been suggested trades by his camp. I don't know if any of them have included the first rounder. I think the Jags now. What I'm hesitating on is could it included like a Seattle kind of first rounder, or might be the 28th pick, which is that enough and that's it? So maybe I would say I'm going to put like a 35% chance they've been offered a first-round pick.
Okay. And you think if they were off the first-round pick, it was probably a later on towards the draft type of pick?
Yeah, because I think they would have jumped.
Yeah.
I think it would have been enough. And by the way, like if it wasn't enough, that team that was that interested to give up a first-round pick probably would have given up the first and either a player or a fourth as well. They would have probably done. That wouldn't have called off the talks. Yeah. I think if there was somebody that came to the table with a first round, talks would have probably escalated to kind of get the deal done. And it hasn't. So I would say no. If I had to bet on it, I would say I don't think they have.
Gotcha. Okay.
How about you?
See, I'm kind of in the same ballpark that you are just because, and I understand that Shad Khan wants to hold his ground right now, but you got to think if you get offered a first-round pick anywhere, like in the middle round to obviously the early round of that first round, how could you not? Because you're immediately getting an upgrade on that investment because you spent a third-round pick on him. So do I think that the Jaguars have been offered a first-round pick? I'm just going to say I hope not, because if it was me, I would have pulled the trigger on that as soon as that came through the wire, regardless of the time that took place. So I don't think they have yet. I'm not sure if they're going to. But to me, it's the ultimate decider. If I get a first-round pick for Yannick Ngakoue, and once again, it has to be ideal. It has to look good. But even towards the later round now, Brent, I think I'd probably let him go then.
Yeah, I think right now if you get a first-rounder, they would do it.
Yeah.
I do. I agree with you. I just don't know if they were offered a first-rounder back in January, that was enough to pull the trigger on it. I think they might have waited to see if they could get a little bit more. So that's my hesitation in saying, yeah, they might have been. Although I'm not really convinced that they are. If I had to bet, I would say no. They have not been granted a first-round selection, or at least offered one of those. I want to get to, before we take a break here, I put a poll question out there last night. It's got over 1,300 votes now. Dang. Do you think Jan will play on the tag for Jaguars this season? This surprised me. The fan base believes Jan. Or the people voting believe Jan. Or Jan voted a lot.
Hey, everybody. Feel free to go to Brent Martineau's Twitter page and vote for me real quick. Winner, there's going to be one random person that gets a prize.
I didn't take that into consideration until just now. Maybe Jan voted a lot. No,
there you go.
You can only vote once. But 58% say no. They believe Jan will sit out and not play on the tag. Now, that could mean a lot of things. No means they think he'll get traded. No means. But my question was pretty simplistic of, will he play on the tag for the Jags this season? Yeah. And 42% say yes, 58% say no. And that's over 1,300 votes. That poll's still open for another 3 hours. But that, to me, I was surprised by that from the fans. Now, listen, there's a big segment of the fan. Jan's lost a big segment of the fan base since last, November. Yeah. They're tired of him. They're tired of the cryptic tweets and everything else. And I think even that was kind of planned. I don't know about planned, but I don't think he cared about that at the end of the day. It's like, what do I have to, because there was a huge part of the population and Jags fans that were all for it. Sign them. They were mad at the Jags, remember? If you go back to last July, August, September, even all the way up through December maybe, until the checkered flag came out and everything else. Yeah. And he wanted out. And then that will turn a fan base against you. And it has. So, interesting poll about Jan. The players report tomorrow. Jan's not reporting, right?
No, I don't. Why? Yeah. I mean, why would he? No. Yeah. No.
So this is now the clock begins.
Yeah.
On Jan. It is 7:27, and the season is 6 weeks away. Will he play, or will he go, or will he sit, or whatever is on the table, and that's where we're at. The clock begins to tick now for Yannick Ngakoue.
Regarding Yannick Ngakoue, and obviously, I think we share the same philosophy here that he's not going to show up for a while, at least for training camp, and then we'll see once the season actually starts where he's going to be. But with that being said, though, Brent, I want to ask you this, okay? We've been here, and once again, I don't know what kind of defense the Jaguars are going to run this year, okay? I seriously have no idea. 3-4, 4-3. It's probably going to be some kind of hybrid, a little more dynamic than it was last year, right? But I want to take you back to last year real quick, right? Where we talked about, that they could be doing something crazy. They got Josh Allen coming in. It could be a 3-4 defense. And we had Todd Wash tell us that they had plans to do something different, but what was the reason? Yannick Ngakoue wasn't there, so they kind of went back to their old base kind of coverages and the base kind of fronts because Yannick Ngakoue wasn't there, in person to go over the defense with. Now, I'm very adamant. I think you could have made it work without him being there. Regardless, though, it was what it was. Now we enter a new year. Okay, now we enter another year where Yannick Ngakoue not going to show up on time, we assume. We have a guy by the name of Chason who's going to be a rookie. Josh Allen going into his second year. Here begs the question. If you're Todd Wash right now with this defense, how dynamic and how different can you be? Because you didn't pull the trigger when it wasn't a pandemic, when Yannick Ngakoue wasn't in training camp. You had a new guy in Josh Allen who looked very dynamic on film, who you were excited about. How much more dynamic can the defense be this year if Ngakoue is not going to be here again, number one, and number two, COVID-19?
Yeah, I don't know how much more dynamic it can be. I do think they're not sitting around and waiting for Jan this time.
Sure.
Like they, again, you know me, we've talked about this. I don't believe that 11-day thing was real anyway, because I remember, I think it was just an excuse. In hindsight, people use excuses, whether they say they want to or not. Yeah. And I think the 11 days was an excuse by the Jags, because I remember when they played the scrimmage, them basically saying, Jan, he'll catch up. Mm-hmm. He's basically like another coach out there. He knows everything in and out. Mm-hmm. So I don't buy all that they would have looked totally different and all this stuff if Jan had been there for the 11 days. But I do think this. I think the Jags believe Jan right now and are planning on him not playing. I think that's their thought inside the building. I have heard various things. I've even heard from outside the building that they're not even, there's no communication there. Mm-hmm. So it's not like they're keeping him up to speed on what's going on, which a lot of times you'll do with a player that, might have some business stuff to handle. Well, I don't think there's even any of that. So I think obviously, Jan and his camp have said, we're not playing. Mm-hmm. Not playing in Jacksonville. And they have held firm to that. I still have my doubts about that, but they have held firm to that. And I also say I think the Jags firmly believe he's not playing. But that doesn't mean they're moving him either. Sure. The standoff continues. And so what will really be interesting as this develops is if they both kind of have this feeling that he's not going to play for the Jags in 2020. What happens as we do get closer and he does say, you know what, I am going to play. I'm going to go get that $1.2 million a week. Well, where does he fit in then? If that's around Labor Day, does he just automatically plug in? Have they now built some more things around Josh Allen, even incorporated the rookie, K'Lavon Chason? Or are there enough snaps to say, hey, we can get all these guys in there. They're all talented. That's my job. Get all the talented players in there.
I want to ask you this question. Okay, let's assume that Yannick Ngakoue maybe comes back. Let's say let's be realistic here. Halfway through the season. Okay, I mean that could very well happen, right? Let's assume that maybe he's not in the best of shape. He has to get acclimated again. Maybe gets a few plays here, a few plays there, and maybe Chason's doing fantastic. Does it benefit Yannick Ngakoue in a future contract to sit out this year and just risk it for the biscuit, or does it benefit him to come back and play? And maybe only get 3-4 sacks because he's splitting time with Josh Allen. He's splitting time with Chason.
Yeah, it's a good call. It benefits his bank account to go get $8 million at that point.
Well, correct. but I'm saying, for that long term, Brent.
I don't know. I would say this. If he sits out, his resume says no sacks in 2020. If he plays, his resume could say, to your point, 4 sacks in 8 games.
Sure.
Or something like that. I still think, again, I think he would be coming back for all the business reasons, the dollars, the accrued year, the everything else, and anybody who's going to sign him in free agency knows the resume. It won't impact at all. I don't think. Okay. I don't think 0 sacks sitting out will impact. I also don't think 4 sacks will impact. Now, the thing that will impact, I believe, and this is what he's going to be careful of with all this new money structure, is a lowered cap. He will not get as rich a deal, I believe, in 2021 as he would have in normal times, is my point. I think he could pay that price a little bit because of what essentially will be a lowered cap, it looks like, in 2021. Now, how much of a hit, I don't know. Might be $1 million. Might not be that much, but
listen, all I'm going to say is Clowney played in 13 games last season, only had 3 sacks, and those numbers, and now where's he at? He's still waiting to get on a team.
You're right, and that's a good example. The difference with Clowney right now, to me, is he's been so selective.
Okay.
It feels like, doesn't it feel like, at least when he's talked, he's like, I want to play here, I want to play here, I don't want to play there. Sure. I feel like that. Now, that might not be reality. It just feels that way.
And I think he kind of feels like, listen, he's a longtime vet in the game. He's earned that, right, to be fair. But at the same time, he's very dynamic. You can put him in any kind of system, he's going to flourish. So I agree with you there.
We're not done talking about Jan. Obviously, we're getting close to camp time, and Jan will be a story once again. Jump in on the conversation, star 690 904 362 9901. The poll question's out there as well. Plus, when we come back, the latest on Major League Baseball and how it impacts all these other sports. It's on ESPN 690.
First Take, your take.
You see injuries happen every single week that end seasons, potentially end careers, certainly derails dudes for weeks upon weeks at a time. So if there is one sport that has survived by being able to afford losing bodies along the way, it is the National Football League, because it happens to them every single week.
First Take, your take, from 1 to 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you.
Okay.
Then you need to be online where they look for you.
Online, huh?
Then you need to be involved in the community. Then you need to...
Whoa. I don't have time for all that. I need to run my business. Alexa, can you help me find someone that can help me with online marketing?
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
Local Solutions, your local marketing team putting you at the top of mind. Visit JacksonvilleLocalSolutions.com today and let us take your business to the next level so you can get back to running it. Local Solutions, powered by Cox Media Group. Marketing solved.
Men, are the effects of hypertension, diabetes, or prostate cancer preventing you from having a satisfying love life? In just one visit, the doctors at Prime Men's Medical Center can help you overcome ED or PE to regain your confidence and have you last longer in the bedroom. Name brand pills don't work for many men and can have serious side effects. The highly skilled physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center provide custom blended medications that are safe, effective, and work immediately, regardless of your medical history or age. You'll see results on your first visit, guaranteed, or your consultation is free. So, if you have problems in the bedroom, call now for a private consultation. One call, one visit, one simple solution to regain your love life. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now at 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired and school just isn't for you, earn while you learn by enrolling in the Clara White Mission Workforce Training, designed for 16 to 24-year-olds and no experience necessary. National certifications include culinary arts, OSHA, HAZWOPER, forklifting, environmental training, and more. These programs are customized for low-income and disadvantaged. Make your way to the Clara White Mission Training Center at 613 West Ashley Street. Call 904-354-4162 or visit clarawhitemission.org.
After a car accident, you can feel like you've lost control. I'm Eli Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. Our legal team can help you understand your options after an accident. We will file your claim and fight for the full compensation you deserve. If you've been involved in a car accident, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
WFOX Fox 30 has been removed from the service of Dish Network after the satellite provider refused to agree to a fair deal for a new retransmission consent agreement with Cox Media Group. If you're affected by this decision to deprive you of important local news and programming during these critical times, make your voice heard. Call Dish today at 1-800-333-3474. That's 1-800-333-3474 and demand that they put Fox 30 back on Dish. Thinking of a new ride? Waiting for a sale? Well, if I got great news for you, because this isn't just any sale. No. This is big. It's the Big One sales event going on now at Arlington Toyota. During the Big One sales event at Arlington, you can get 0% for 60 months on 10 new Toyota models. That's 0% for 60 months on 10 new Toyota models. No one does the Big One deal like that. And at Arlington Toyota right now, they're giving you no payments until 2021 on your new Toyota purchase. That's right. You make 0 payments until 2021 on your new Toyota. And with every new vehicle purchased from Arlington, you get a lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Plus, you can buy with total peace of mind thanks to Arlington's 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. The Big One sale just keeps getting bigger, and it's happening right now at Arlington Toyota. Shop them in person safely at 10939 Atlantic Boulevard or online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/Big One sale for full details. Time for more summer savings.
No other jeweler in North Florida can beat Beard's Diamonds. They have the largest selection and the lowest prices. And now with their 5-year zero-interest financing, you can go even bigger.
Yes, save on everything. Rings, earrings, bracelets, pendants, wedding bands, all designer jewelry, all colored gemstone pieces, and all diamonds. 5 years, zero interest, and no money down.
It's a great time to splurge on that $12,000 3-stone ring and pay just $200 a month.
Impress her with a bigger diamond engagement ring, a $6,000 setting from just $100 a month.
Or how about $3,000 diamond stud earrings, only $50 a month.
Get the absolute lowest prices Beards is known for. Then spread your payments out over 60 months with absolutely no interest and nothing down.
Beards Diamonds, located at the St. John's Town Center.
Come in. See the difference. Save thousands.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what covering your bases is in baseball, right?
Of course, making sure you have no holes in your defense.
Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless, and you'll pay up to 50% less than big carriers and still use their same networks. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G.
And no contract, no mystery fees. Fully covering your bases for 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Savings may vary. Check out terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Today, pros have to do whatever it takes. The Home Depot is here to make that easier. We've got the products you know and trust on our app, delivery options to get what you need exactly where you need it, and a delivery tracker that keeps you up to date on the status of your order, so you can keep doing what you do best, whatever it takes to get the job done. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news. Rangers pitcher Corey Kluber out at least 4 weeks with a torn muscle in the back of his pitching shoulder. A coronavirus outbreak in the Marlins organization has forced some changes in the Major League Baseball schedule. The Orioles-Marlins games in Miami tonight and tomorrow postponed. Tonight's Yankees-Phillies game in Philadelphia postponed. The Marlins played in Philly over the weekend. The choices MLB is facing right now, not all that appealing, explains ESPN's Tim Kirkjian.
You could pause the season, but that doesn't do much good during a 60-game season. You could just see where the Marlins and the Phillies and other teams are, or you could make the very, very difficult but maybe responsible decision to say we've had an outbreak and we need to cancel the whole year.
The Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference has canceled fall sports amid the pandemic. NFL, Vikings are moving ahead with tomorrow's mandatory reporting date for veterans to training camp, despite a positive COVID-19 test for the team's head trainer. He had no recent contact with players. The team facility is being sanitized.
Straight Talk Wireless has the full court cell phone coverage you need. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G for up to 50% less than the big carriers. Only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Hey everybody, Hi, this is Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. But if you can't catch it, or if you want to go back and listen again, check out the Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 podcast. Just search ESPN 690 in your podcast app.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jacks.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
I'm a little worried about getting tested because of people with the pain, they say what the pain is like and stuff. So, but we'll see how it goes. Just waiting to see what happens.
That's Jawan Taylor, Jaguars' second-year right tackle out of Florida. When the 320-pound guy says, "Hey, it might be a little painful," I'm not worried. I'm not looking forward to that test.
Yeah,
I heard it all depends on the shape of your nose. That's what they say. I don't know if that's right.
It's not enjoyable.
I'm so screwed, man. Heaven help me.
See if they'll put it through your ear instead.
It'd probably feel better. I mean, like I said, the right nostril is completely blocked off. So I don't know if you're going to push through. Like, I don't know. Ugh, I don't think about it.
I'll tell you, I had to get it actually last week while I was on vacation. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, happy vacation.
Yeah.
They are not gentle.
Oh.
they go up there.
You're here, so you were negative.
I was negative, but I definitely stressed Nick out a little bit with that one.
Is that your vacation story? Or is there a different
there's
story?
a lot more to it, but yeah, that's part of it.
All right, well, don't leave us hanging. You can go get your food in a moment. How was vacation?
It was nice, relaxing. You know, the whole week at the beach.
And a COVID-19 test.
Yeah, with the test thrown in there. No, the first night, right? You know, the fiance's family all came down, and we were all hanging out in one apartment, playing card games, all the stuff like that. Her 8-month pregnant cousin was there. Her 80-year-old grandma was there. Like, we're having a good time. And then I wake up to a text from my friend who I had dinner with the night before saying, you know, hey, I tested positive. And I'm like, oh, no.
Stress.
Utter chaos.
Stress.
Utter chaos for like.
So how do you tell? You're like, hey, I got a team meeting here at the apartment, or is that just like a text to
like
Nicole?
I woke Nicole up at like 7 in the morning. Obviously, we're all hungover, and that didn't help things because I'm hungover. I'm like, oh my god, do I have coronavirus or am I just hungover? So that happened, and then luckily I found a place up here in Jacksonville that was able to give me test results in 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
So I called them up, hit that up, drove up here, got it done, got the results back, got negative, and it was right back to drinking the next night.
I like it.
Back at it.
Yep.
It's interesting. I think that's a lot of people's stories. I asked this, okay? I asked this to someone yesterday. How many times in the last, what would it be, 5 months? Let's say 5 months. Have you thought that you might have the coronavirus? Like realistic.
Easily over 15.
Really?
Anytime I have a twitch, I'm like, oh no, is that it?
Man,
I was going to say, and what does it say about you?
It says I'm a hypochondriac is what that says.
Honestly, the only time that I can think back to is actually in November when I was under the weather, just kind of had some body aches and everything, little scratchy throat. Still came in like a trooper. But that was the only time. And then spreading it
That's
everywhere.
definitely not allowed anymore.
It wasn't that big yet, man. It was like that indie band that nobody knew about quite yet.
Nobody knew it at all at that time, really.
It didn't go viral until March, so don't worry about that part. But that's probably the only time I actually felt like, oh, I might have it. But I obviously didn't know what it was back then. And once again, if I have to get the testing, I'm just going to say I have it. I'm like, hey, screw the testing, I have it. It's not going on my nose.
I just say you have it.
Not going on my nose.
So that was the case, right? I called Nick and I was like, hey, it was Monday, right, when I got the test. So I'm driving up to Jacksonville. I called Nick, our boss. I'm like, hey, so I'm going to get tested now. What do we do if it comes back positive? He's like, I mean, you're not allowed in the building for 14 days. I was like, cool, just going to take a month off from work. Sounds awesome.
I'm sure some people have felt fine, have said, hey, little extended vacation.
Now you're not.
That does work.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
It's interesting. I sincerely say I've probably thought on 3 occasions that I'm like, let's see where this goes. You might just because you get the allergy stuff, so sometimes the throat and you get a little congested, and so I don't know the difference. But then once in a while, you'll be like, there were 2 occasions that it was like, okay, that might be a little bit more. Let's see where this goes in the next few hours, and then it was done. Like whether I took an Advil or something, I didn't feel anything. But also, to be fair and honest, it doesn't mean you didn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the other thing I've thought about in the last 6 months. Like I just thought about this weekend. I don't know why I just thought about it, but I was like, how many times do you think you had it? And the one other time, by the way, is like I hit a brick wall tired. I was like, why am I so tired?
Sure.
Like it's not like I haven't been sleeping or anything like that. And
not enough coffee.
Yeah, maybe that was it.
Yeah.
But I mean, just like brick wall tired, like boom. And I don't even know if that's one of the symptoms. But then I thought on top of that, the second part of this, I thought about yesterday was like, how I maybe already had it and didn't even know.
Yeah.
And that's really like the blind nature of this is really why the numbers are so crazy, right?
Correct.
I mean, how many people have had it? How many of us have had it?
Yeah.
Didn't even know, asymptomatic. There was no reason to go get tested because we didn't think anything else.
And is there truth to it where if you get it once, you can't get it again?
Well,
or is
see,
that what
that's
they're
funny.
saying?
I've heard
That's
people
interesting.
say they got it
Steph
twice.
we were just talking about that this morning, and I said, you know what's interesting about coronavirus, and some of this is on me because I've kind of turned the conversation down on it. Like, all right, I've heard all the numbers. It is. We're going to take all the precautions you can take. I'm paying attention to it in the sports world. But I haven't, what's the fact and fiction stuff of coronavirus now that it's played out for 5 months? And that's one I don't know.
I'm pretty sure you can get it again. Because if not, then Bruce Arians should be pumping coronavirus and Tom Brady and every one of his players and then get them sick right now. So by the time it's up in 2 weeks, you're good for the regular season.
But wasn't that kind of like the theory and the thought of like all the Clemson players that got it or the kids in Alabama saying, hey, let's go get it and then we'll be done with it?
I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
they were like, well, we'll be done with it. But I don't know if that's true.
I thought that was
or
Alabama
not.
kids just being Alabama
I thought that was
kids.
just like frat bros being like, yo, Corona party.
No, I think the motivation behind that was the theory that once you get it,
I hope so, man. Justify
then you
it
don't
somehow.
get it again.
Possibly.
I really thought the only time that I really 100% was convinced I had it was actually after I got the nasal swab, right? Because, I'm driving up there. I'm like, I'm negative. I feel fine. This is great. And then they shove this thing into my brain essentially twice. And then my nose is runny. Because and I'm like, oh my God, they just unlocked the coronavirus.
So don't want to do that, man. I so don't want to do that.
It really feels.
What are you going to do for me? Like, literally, the right side of my nose is blocked off. So are you literally going to push it up there until it bleeds and pokes through?
I seriously heard. Somebody told me they got tested last week, and they said it was like, you're done? Like, they didn't even know anything happened.
Well, I'm sure that person has a great-looking nose.
They must.
I was driving up thinking, all the celebrities are like, it's not that bad. It's not horrible. And then I got it, and I'm telling you, when I did it in my car, right? I just put the window down. When they first put that thing on my nose, I grabbed the steering wheel. You would have thought I was being tortured.
That's because all celebrities have fantastic noses. As simple as that. I'm rocking a toucan Sam over here. Like, I'm nervous, man.
If you had to do that every day, come into work, would you opt out?
Probably. It's really unenjoyable. And afterwards, Nicole was telling me the golfers, they have to do it before they go. Once they get there, I'm like, oh man. I mean, if there's money involved, probably just do it. But
yeah, it's a different kind of money.
Not for my salary. Yeah,
it is a different kind of money. I mean, we're all driven by different things. And Kuz's salary is probably not it.
No, it's not worth it. I was saying, you wouldn't have to waterboard me to get information. Just do that test a bunch of times. I'll tell you anything you need to know.
Waterboard.
All right.
Guantanamo Bay is going to be just doing COVID-19 tests from now on.
Now, meanwhile, the Jags players and everybody reporting will get tested. That'll be kind of the protocol that happens. They get tested when they get in there. The rookies already did, quarterbacks, and the veterans that report by tomorrow will do that and then basically go home for 3 days or hotels for 3 days or stay in somewhat quarantine and wait for the test results and then take another one. That's really the first week of camp as we know it. Major League Baseball is a huge story today with the Marlins, with all the players testing positive. And what's interesting is nobody has found a way I mean, some people have found a way, but on a grand scale, to be able to test that rapidly. And so the big problem with Major League Baseball's testing as of right now is they get tested, say, on Sunday morning. They go play a game Sunday afternoon. They feel fine. Yeah. And then they find out Monday morning, well, guess what? You have it.
Well,
now you've been around 50 other people, and who did you give it to?
That was, I mean, when I found out that I had, or that somebody around me had tested positive, I was like, okay, I need to know, like I need to get this test. And I need to know now. The first 5 places I called for a test were like, we can give it to you in 1 to 2 days. I had one tell me 2 weeks. Yeah. I was like, this doesn't work, because there's people that need to then travel back to their states. So I need to know now if they need to stay here for longer than a week.
Yeah, and I guess it hits you at different times in terms of your experiences with it. But people have been experiencing this kind of conversation, by the way, for 5 months. I mean, and that's just the way it's gone. Should they play or should they stop it in Major League Baseball right now, given the situation? They're not going to play the Marlins game against the Orioles the next 2 days, it looks like. We'll see after that. The Phillies, because they were playing the Marlins, they won't play the Yankees game tonight. I'm sure everybody's getting tested. What would you do if you're Major League Baseball? If you're Rob Manfred, what do you do? Do you stall play? Do you wait for a couple of days and see where else it goes?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you're pretty much pot committed at this point, I think. So you have to keep on pressing forward, man, and you have to keep on driving forward. Listen, it's the Miami Marlins, okay? I'm a little disappointed that the Marlins are the ones right now that we're talking about, right? Because let's be fair, the Marlins, I think, weren't in contention to go to the playoffs or anything like that, and that has nothing to do with it. But if
they are in first place.
They're in first place right now. But if you're baseball, you have to keep on just pushing forward and hope that it works out for the best. Now, just because you push forward and hope it works out for the best does not mean that there are protocols in place. And you have to have a plan set in place where if so-and-so happens, then you do this. If worst case scenario B happens, then you do this. If C happens, you have to be ahead of the curve here. You have to be ready for the worst case scenario. And we're getting close to that right now. I mean, a team with, 13 players and personnel contracting COVID-19, that's as bad as it's probably going to get, if not worse. So I just hope that the MLB has a plan in place in case it does get, for whatever reason, knock on wood, get worse.
That's a good 1/3 of their roster, by the way, in the first opening weekend of Major League Baseball to test positive. And again, it doesn't be, a lot of these folks might be asymptomatic and all that, but they have tested positive. And so now we wait and see. I think what will be interesting here is how many Phillies test positive that were around the Marlins, even on the same diamond. Again, it's a sport that you can kind of, you can certainly socially distance for the most part. The hitter and the catcher and the umpire and the first baseman and the runner certainly can't. But outside of that, you can. So I think it's wait and see mode, play on. You already dipped your toe in this thing, and now it's like the best thing that could happen is everybody goes on high alert. Testing is not through the roof on all the teams, and you say, okay, that was pretty isolated to have that kind of outbreak. We canceled the games, gave them a few days, reshuffle their roster, do all those things, and now let's move on with the season as planned. We'll make up those other games down the road. But that's what Major League Baseball must be crossing its fingers at right now, is saying hopefully there's not 4 other teams that have outbreaks like that, because then it becomes a different situation for Manfred. Does he have to just stop the season for a week? Does he stop the season in general? Those kind of rules come into play.
Well, and let's be honest here, Brent. If you're going to ask me to start out this season, that one MLB team was going to have, 13, 14 of its players and personnel test positive for COVID-19, and you ask me what state do you think that's going to happen in, I'm saying Florida all day. It's either going to be the Rays or it's going to be the Marlins. Guaranteed it. Well, and here we are now, because let's be honest, Florida right now is a COVID-19 hotspot. Now, what you want to do with that information is on you, but the numbers indicates right now that Florida, the block is hot, let's just say. So with that being said, I mean, if you're the MLB, do you take precautions to maybe move the teams out of Florida? Because it is, in terms of coronavirus cases, I don't think anyone's got Florida beat right now. And keep this in mind as well. The NFL season, I get it. We're still a couple months away from the regular season starting up. But do you really take an honest look? And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news here, but do you really take an honest, wholehearted look about letting fans into the stadiums, especially in Florida?
That's a good call. I didn't really think about that part of it. I would think some of those red flags are going up. Now, here's the deal. When they announced the fan stuff, say Baltimore, I think Denver here, and some fans, remember they said no fans.
Philly
but they did
said no
say,
fans.
well, they said no fans there. But that's when they announced that there will be 17,000 or fewer or 14,000 or fewer, they said in coordination with local guidelines and everything else. So by the time you get to September 13th, that home opener here in Jacksonville, what are the guidelines in Jacksonville? What's allowed? Gatherings of how many people, all those kind of things. So I think that can be more of a last-minute deal. Now, they're going to go sell these tickets again and might have to recoup it again, which is a pain.
Yeah.
But I think that certainly isn't a major problem because I think they can turn on a dime there in terms of saying no fans allowed. The bigger thing is how many players now over the next week to me test positive in the NFL, and also how many more test positive in something like Major League Baseball, because the NFL and college football are more like Major League Baseball in terms of the travel that they are doing. They are not in the bubbles like the NBA and MLS and others that have been successful so far in the bubbles. How about just a quick thought or two, Major League Baseball in general? Did you watch any of the games? I mean, was it fun opening weekend? I said earlier, the stat that was crazy to me is that no sweeps, which means for the first time, everybody's got to win on opening weekend. First time since 1954, which is pretty incredible to me. Your Brewers lost a couple, but listen, you can't panic even in a 60-game season.
I'm not panicking at all. You know, the first game of the series, Woodruff, I thought he looked really solid. Looks like he's going to be a great starter going forward. They just couldn't put the bats together. Second game, they won. Third game, they got beat. Couldn't find the bats again. Overall, I'm not worried about the Brewers right now. I'm not panicking by any means. It's the first week of the season. You know, it's calmed down a little bit. I'd be probably panicking if I was a Red Sox fan because the Orioles get serious, everybody. But
I'm panicking as a Red Sox fan, not only because of the Orioles, but because I can't even name – I don't know who the starting pitcher is in Game 3. Like, who is Ryan Weber?
You're asking the wrong dude there.
I mean,
is it related to Stewart? I don't know. Who knows,
you said the same thing, by the way, when I said that.
Stewart, we're on the same page, man.
But who are these guys running out there?
For sure. But, so, I watched all 3 games of that. I'm sure my family was super pumped to do that the whole weekend, watch those games. And besides that, my biggest takeaway right now is Stanton looking two home runs. Sorry, I don't have COVID. I'm just coughing because I'm getting cocky. Stanton, 2 home runs to start things off. Looking pretty good.
Yeah, well, we won't hit one tonight.
Okay. Oh, that's true. But you know what? Neither way, Aaron Judge, though, because that's the bet that we have on the line right now.
My goodness, by the way, did people just fill up my timeline on Stanton? Or is Major League Baseball going out of its way to try to make Stanton a star in 2020?
Yes, everyone foresaw it, Brent.
I mean,
everybody saw it coming. You just didn't want to read the tea leaves.
Everybody had played another game on Friday, and on Saturday afternoon, top of the Twitter feed was still Stanton's home run from Thursday night. It's like, all right, the guy hits it far. He also strikes out a lot.
It's okay, man. Batting .444 right now. Brent, don't be mad at him. Don't be mad because court hasn't really been in session lately. Maybe COVID-19 related, but court hasn't been in session.
There's no reason to try to make him a star.
The judge hasn't been in, all right? It's not a big deal. Stanton right now, not sitting too shabby with 2 home runs. Judge, step your game up or else I'm just going to cash in on that bet. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I've got a long way to go and a lot of strikeouts.
A lot of baseball.
Now and then
a lot of baseball left. A lot of baseball left.
The thing that was interesting to me, first of all, Verlander's a huge story now. Justin Verlander with the Astros. The Astros, some of that karma. Although they did win 2 out of 3. They actually were the one team that probably should have swept. Seattle came back, won that game. But we could get a bad karma Houston 2020 team. I mean, with Verlander already going down. Now, he says he's not out for the year, but still, you miss 4, 5, 6 starts. That's pretty critical in a short season like this. The thing that was interesting to me, and I always have these discussions with the guys that love the home run and the big guys, but base running, once again, is still atrocious in Major League Baseball. I remember a few years ago, Kirkshin said, he's like, it's the worst it's ever been, and that's still evident. And situational baseball is still bad. I couldn't tell you how many times we watched a game, and it would be like a runner on third and less than 2 outs, and they just couldn't get the job done.
Sure.
And now listen, some of that you're facing top flight pitchers in the opening weekend, and that also stuck out to me. Like, people wondered if the pitching would be ready.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of low scoring games. I think the pitching was ready on a lot of fronts. So it's going to be fun to watch if we get to watch it. You know, sure. I'm guilty of this. I am skewed by, I want to see Major League Baseball. Now that they've started, I want them to get through this, whatever this Marlins thing is, if I'm being honest. I don't know if it's the most sensible thing. I can't sit here and say, yeah, it's the most sensible thing. Let's try to push through this.
Yeah.
But as like a sports fan, and now that Major League Baseball has started, I'm like, well, you got to at least see what happens next.
Yeah.
You can't just shut it down. Anybody who said you got to shut the season down now, well, you wouldn't make that call if you were in Commissioner Manfred's position. Now, you might have not made the same decisions he made or the ones Major League Baseball made, but you wouldn't sit here on Monday and shut it down.
No,
I don't think so.
You're too pot committed, man. You're all in right now.
I think you have to at least, let's get through the first 10 days of this thing and let's see where it goes, and let's see if there are 5 other teams like the Marlins. And by the way, I'm admitting right now, I don't know if that's the most responsible way to think through this, because what if there is somebody that gets really sick? What if it is a Freddie Freeman type of case of coronavirus? I mean, so that's not really fair, I guess, to put the players in that position. Players might have to reconsider their positions on this depending on what they're seeing around them. And I also think that will raise the red flag for other sports like the NBA and NFL. You know, is this opt-out thing that you have like a week to do in the NFL because of what they've seen in Major League Baseball now the last couple of days and what they might see over the next few days, is that kind of like, oh, I'm opting out. I mean, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
Does that raise the red flag? It depends how you view it. Depends how you believe in it. It depends what you want to risk to a degree.
So I feel like right now in terms of the opt-out, and I forgot like what exactly the payout was. Isn't it like you get, is it $300,000, Brent, for if you choose to opt out?
I think there's 2 different ones. One's like $150,000, one's $300,000.
Depending
on
what
the opt-out.
Okay, regardless. To me right now on the opt-out for NFL players, like I expect, 97, 98% of the players to play. But I also think right now it's like they're all around the pool, right? And they're waiting for that first person to jump in to say, hey, how's that water, man? Is it okay? Okay, then I'm going to go in as well. Like, to me, if a big-time player, and I'm not to say that the guy from the Kansas City Chiefs, I forgot it. The lineman, yeah.
Which is kind of a neat story,
it's a
really, because he's on the front lines.
He's also a doctor.
Yes. so he had a different circumstance, to
props
your
to
point.
you, sir. Exactly. Yeah. So it's different circumstances.
Somebody already said
there.
Walter Payton Man of the Year award winner. It might not be wrong.
You're not wrong at that, probably, whatsoever. So props to him, for doing what he wants to do, and that's fantastic. And now he's going to opt out, and he's going to collect that paycheck as he should. Cool. But I'm saying, like, if a big name chooses to say, you know what, guys, it's not for me. Then I think you see the snowball effect. You see the trickle down effect from there. But I don't think if no household name does it, then I think everyone's going to be all in. Because let's be honest, in terms of football, I think more than any other sport, Brent, where if you choose to sit out, it's almost like you're letting that brotherhood down, right? It's almost like you're letting your guys down. And yeah, maybe it's a business decision, maybe it's a family decision, and family should always come first. But you still have that bond, you still have that brotherhood in the locker room. And if you choose to opt out of it, there might be some pretty disappointed guys. So I think the last thing, teammates want to do is let each other down. So that's why we haven't seen a lot of people opting out. But once again, if a big-time name opts out, then you might see a wave.
Yeah, that's a good call. And I still think money talks even for the players here. Listen, $150,000, that's a nice check. Mm-hmm. But for some of these guys, they're making a couple $1 million.
Sure.
It's worth the risk. Again, I mean, would you come in here and get swabbed every day for maybe what we're making? Maybe not. But I'd certainly do it for what they're making.
I'm just doing it to have fun, Brent. I'm just down to have fun.
But we don't have to get swabbed every day. That's my point.
No, but I'm saying if I did, I'd still be doing it for the fun.
I would too, just for everybody.
For the
listening.
love of the radio.
Even if it's 5 of you.
Yeah.
Just for all of you listening. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Koo's back from vacation. One other thing about Major League Baseball. Actually, 2 things. Ohtani. First time he's pitched in like 2 years.
Maybe he's sick to batting, huh?
Didn't get out.
Yeah, maybe he's sick to batting. Yeah. Maybe the pitching thing.
Outside of that, I really couldn't learn a whole bunch from the opening weekend.
Stanton.
I mean, listen.
Stanton. About it, though, right? Stanton's pretty big.
The Yankees and the Dodgers are going to be good.
Sure.
But the Nationals easily could have taken 2 out of 3. But the Nationals are pretty good.
But Dodgers went 2-2 as well against the Giants.
Yeah.
You know?
It's baseball.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I say. It's baseball.
Yeah.
It is hard to win 3 games in a row in baseball.
For sure.
It's just hard to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, the Orioles, seriously, I had to pull back my tweet after game 1 because the Orioles got walloped by a Red Sox team, by the way, that's supposed to be middle of the pack.
I saw what you put.
I'm like, it's going to be a long season.
Yeah.
And then they go beat the Red Sox the next 2 games.
Back to back, baby. Oh, yeah. It's the game of baseball.
It's baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really strange game in that sense where it's hard to beat a team 3 times. Doesn't matter how good they are.
Here's the question, though. When do you start panicking now if you're a baseball fan, right? Because usually even during the All-Star break, it's kind of like, yeah, all right, now we got to start wrangling everybody up. Let's start playing some better baseball here. I'm not panicking quite yet. A couple games out of first place, we're okay. Well, now it's completely different. When do you start panicking if you're a baseball fan?
Well, I think it depends what division you're in.
Sure.
You know, and what league you're in, because I think it was Ty asked me to say, who's the second best team behind the Dodgers in the NL? And I was like, well, I think it might be the Braves. And I said, but some people might say it's the Reds. Some might say it's the Brewers.
Yeah.
Some might say it's the Cubs.
Yep.
Some might say it's the Phillies. Some might say it's the Nationals.
Yeah.
Some might say it's the Cardinals.
Yep.
Seriously.
No, I hear
Who's
you.
the second best team in the NL? And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it just depends who you like or what you think, but you're really rolling the dice. That's how deep it is. My point being, why would you panic if you're in the NL Central? Mm-hmm. Because you're going to beat each other up anyway, and you're probably going to be all within a few games of each other. So it's probably not a panic point until late in the season. But meanwhile, like in the Central, say the AL Central or the AL West, if the Twins or Indians start really good, or like the A's start really good, or Astros, well, then if you're like the A's and the Angels or the White Sox, then you might be like, oh, shoot, man, we can't fall that far behind these teams.
Correct.
We know these teams are going to be pretty good, and they're going to beat up on some of the easy teams like the Tigers and the Royals or whatever.
Yep.
So I think it's a fascinating dynamic, but it does depend on what league you're probably sitting in.
Yep.
And what division you're sitting in.
Yep.
One other thing about Major League Baseball season, let's see this. Bets were through the roof. So I see this as the first weekend of the baseball season wound down, Borgata had taken roughly the equivalent of 3 weeks of normal MLB betting handle in just 3 days, despite the casino being limited to only 25% capacity.
There's a lot of degenerates out there,
Well, that
Brent.
sums it up.
They got to get their fix right there, man.
That sums it
You
up.
better believe it. What else are you going to bet on? Cornhole? Come on. People got to get their cash out there. Yeah.
Well, and by the way, I think golf is experiencing some of that as well, and all
UFC
the sports,
too.
You can bet on.
Yeah.
It's way up. DraftKings, FanDuel, those are doing well. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, we get back into some football talk. We've got that on the horizon. Top 100 is out. Kyler Murray made it.
Oh, here we go. Oh, great. I mean, one of the best recycled segments of all time. Brent's going to make fun of Kyler Murray because Gardner Minshew didn't get a spot like Kyler Murray did. Is this what's happening? Was that a good tease? Is that what we're doing next segment?
Probably not next segment.
Tune
Maybe
in.
at 5.
Come on, everybody tune in. Tail is all
Am I
this
lying?
time. Are you lying? We'll see. I'll tell you if you're lying or not when we come back.
More about the players. Don't know anything in the NFL, apparently. It's next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Hot and humid today under a mix of sun and clouds. Then we'll see some scattered midday and afternoon showers and thunderstorms. A high of 92, just dropping to 74 tonight. And more midday and afternoon showers and storms tomorrow with highs in the low 90s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where for a limited time, you can get 5 years, 0 interest financing.
It happens to all of us. That AC unit just starts making some noise, or even worse, it's not working anymore. This is the time of year you don't want that to happen. It's way too hot around here. My friends at Bold City Heating and Air will help. They helped us. It started with a call from my wife, and she said the AC wasn't working. So we jumped on boldcityac.com, and before we knew it, they were at the door. Super friendly customer service, clean, timely, and personal service call. And now we're loyal to Bold City Heating and Air. They took care of my family. They'll take care of your family. It's a big investment in AC unit, but a necessary one. Mirrors at Bold City Heating and Air has built a strong culture, and as a customer, you can feel it. We felt it. The easiest way to start the relationship with an AC company you can trust is to go to boldcityac.com. Have Bold City Heating and Air check out your AC. Right now, it's $25 off and annual maintenance. Bold City will thoroughly service, clean, and test your system to ensure it's working efficiently. Good peace of mind at the very least. Visit boldcityac.com. Be bold and beat the heat at boldcityac.com.
You don't want just any old sale. You want the biggest sale with the biggest savings ever, right? Then you need to see my friends at Arlington Toyota today, because they're having the one big-time sales event. Want low payments and zero down? Then get to Arlington now, because during the big-time sale, they have over 100 quality pre-owned cars you can buy at zero down and $199 a month. That's no money down and $199 a month for over 100 pre-owned vehicles. How about choosing from 50 quality pre-owned trucks and SUVs that you can buy at zero down and just $269 a month? That's no money down and $269 a month with over 50 pre-owned trucks and SUVs. Plus, with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everybody approved. You even get Arlington's 30-day exchange policy for total peace of mind. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. What are you waiting for? It's the one big-time sales event going on now at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/big-time sale for full details.
If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired and school just isn't for you, earn while you learn by enrolling in the Clara White Mission Workforce Training, designed for 16 to 24-year-olds and no experience necessary. National certifications include culinary arts, OSHA, HAZWOPER, forklifting, environmental training, and more. These programs are customized for low income and disadvantaged. Make your way to the Clara White Mission Training Center at 613 West Ashley Street. Call 904-354-4162 or visit clarawhitemission.org.
Though no longer little, teens still need a lot of love. Yet teens in foster care have a harder time finding it, as 82% of foster families are home to kids 12 or younger. You can positively impact a teen's life as a foster parent. With help from Family Support Services of North Florida, you provide patience, love, and understanding, and Family Support Services will offer specialized training, resources, and a community of support. Take the next step at foster-now.org. That's foster-now.org.
After a long day, having my dogs greet me at the door with their silly smiles and wagging tails makes me happy. I want to keep that joy with me for years to come. That's why I trust Forever Vets Animal Hospital to keep my pets healthy. Forever Vets was voted 2019's best vet in Jacksonville Magazine's Readers Poll, and it's easy to see why. The affordable wellness plans are tailored to meet all of your pet's changing needs as they grow. Open 7 days a week, Forever Vets friendly staff is available to treat you and your pet with care. They combine extended hours with online booking to allow you to give your pet quality care while accommodating your schedule. Go online to forevervets.com to find which of their 9 locations is nearest you. And don't forget their newest location in Bartram Market. Forever Vets Animal Hospital, keeping your pets happy and healthy forever.
Hi, I'm Hunt Hawkins, CEO of Steinmart and chair of the 2020 First Coast Heart Walk. The Heart Walk is going virtual, and while we might not be able to meet in person this year, we still need you to support the American Heart Association's mission of being a relentless force for a world of longer, healthier lives for all. At Steinmart, caring is one of our core values, and we care about the health of our community. We will be unified in the fight to improve our health and the health of our families and our community. So let's walk. Register and start a fundraising team today at firstcoastheartwalk.org, and then make plans to join us on Saturday, September 12th to Heart Walk Where You Are. Let's make a difference in the fight against heart disease and stroke. Again, register today at firstcoastheartwalk.org.
Locally sponsored by Steinmart, Florida Blue, the Jacksonville Jaguars, Ascension St. Vincent's, Baptist Health, Brooks Rehabilitation, Main Street America, and Mayo Clinic.
They're breaking all the rules at Diamonds Direct with an unprecedented store-wide sale going on now. Save 20% and more on an expanded selection. Rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, including trunk loads of all new designer pieces flown in from around the world. But hurry, this first time ever 11-day sale ends this Sunday. In-store, online, and virtual. All options open. All merchandise included. Even thousands of engagement rings on sale. An extraordinary sale for an extraordinary time. 20% savings now through Sunday only. Only at Diamonds Direct.
Off Town Center Parkway.
There's a new modern patient-centered orthopedic practice in Jacksonville.
We believe that the patient pays money for a doctor and should be seen by a doctor.
Ortho Edge.
They're getting the most technologically available medicine there is.
Ortho Edge.
You're going to get a much better experience with your physician. We all see our patients.
Get the answers right away and more focused care on patients.
Find out more about us at orthoedge.com.
Ortho Edge. We're in the DePaul building attached to St. Vincent's Medical Center, Riverside.
I'm Thea Jeffers, owner of Breezy Jazz Club and T-Works Interior Decorating. It doesn't matter where you come from, it's possible to own your own business. But starting a business isn't easy. The Jacksonville Women's Business Center helped give me the confidence to keep going when the going got tough. At JWBC, I got the training, networking, and support I needed to help me reach my goals. To find out more about how JWBC can help you, visit jaxwbc.com.
WFOX Fox 30 has been removed from the service of Dish Network after the satellite provider refused to agree to a fair deal for a new retransmission consent agreement with Cox Media Group. If you're affected by this decision to deprive you of important local news and programming during these critical times, make your voice heard. Call Dish today at 1-800-333-3474. That's 1-800-333-3474 and demand that they put Fox 30 back on Dish.
If you're usually listening to ESPN 690 in your car, but your boss has you working from home this week, well, take us with you. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jax. Tell Amazon Echo or Google Home, play ESPN 690, and enjoy all that sweet listening coverage.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
We built up a bond and played together for so long now, and playing that many games together, that many practices together, you know, we all trust one another and we play as a unit. And Coach Warhawk does a great job with that. So being able to have all those same exact guys play again next year or this season coming up is great to see. So we looking forward to having a better year than last year.
That is Jawan Taylor, Jaguars' second-year right tackle out of Florida. Second-round pick a year ago. I think he's going to be a stud. And hopefully we get a chance to see some football coming up soon enough. The timetable is out, by the way, on the camp. And like I said, all last week. Camp reports tomorrow. It's COVID testing. It's play-by-play swabbing. It's then conditioning.
I want to do that so
It's
bad.
walkthroughs.
Yeah.
It's then get out on the field. Like August 12th is really when camp, as we know it, in my estimation of reading through that thing, through the protocols, is when it will start.
Mm-hmm.
So I know we all have this time of year in mind, and they're going to be in the building and all that stuff, but this, to me, is, the time like in mid-April where players go and it's like, hey, players are back in the building. Well, it's off-season conditioning. Well, we don't really go to practices and all that stuff in off-season conditioning.
You're not missing much.
When OTAs start up, we then go. Well, this, to me, is off-season conditioning. They're there, but you really don't know what they're doing, and it won't for a couple weeks. Camp, to me, will start on August 12th. And by the way, we've actually made some programming changes on the TV side. 1st and 10 training camp, which usually will start up this week, we've slid to August 12th to start. So that will be at 11:15 on CBS 47 and Fox 30 every weekday night when camp really gets going, which, again, in our estimation is August 12th. That's when that will start. Other things, by the way, like Friday Night Blitz, high school is sliding back a couple weeks. Even Jaguars All Access sliding back most likely. So we'll keep you updated on that front. But in my view, I don't know how fans are looking at this, but in my view, because we kind of live by the NFL calendar and the football calendar in our business, I just still look at it like everything's delayed 2 weeks. at a minimum, and sometimes more when it comes to high school football and everything else. So we'll keep you posted on any of the changes. Kuz was telling us about almost hit somebody on the golf course yesterday. Didn't yell for.
Yeah, it was bad.
You know, the people that get so mad about not yelling for.
Yep, here we go. Golf talk. Let's get it.
Like, I get it.
Part of me was like,
you should yell for. But if you didn't get hit, who cares?
Yeah,
like if I get hit and you didn't yell for, although, again, if I yell for, that means I'm turning around and you might hit me square between the eyes with the ball. It might be better that I didn't turn around. It's kind of like everybody always says, like, foul ball goes into the stands, or you're at a baseball game, like a Little League game, everybody's like, heads up, and the first thing you do is look up. Well, you're going to get hit. You really should duck.
Yeah.
Well, like, like I hit, obviously got really close. I'm talking like a foot from the guy. But when we showed up, he was like, he's like, your ball's right here. And I was like, yeah, no, I can see it. Sorry about that. And he goes, yeah, well, you didn't yell for. And I was like, right, I thought it was in the water. I apologize. I didn't realize it was this close because, like, the way the course was. And he's like, yeah. And he was just standing there.
Yeah.
And he was standing there, and I'm like, so you going to move so I can hit this? Or, like, what are we doing here?
Golf course fights. Oh, now that's... How many other fights on golf courses?
I bet there's some epic ones.
Dang. It sounds like a website.
I bet there's
you
some
can make some money on.
I was just like,
golf course fights.
I was just like, so what now? Like, do you?
So how are we gonna handle this, bro?
Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I said I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what's happening here.
Listen, I've been on both ends of that too, where it's like I should have yelled for, and it's like, why didn't you yell for? And you kind of like, and then a second later, you're like, who cares, man? Is it really that big a deal?
Did you get hurt?
No.
No, then you're
That's
okay.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the point. Then you're okay.
Other important news to get to.
No, let's
Dr.
keep talking
Fauci's
golf, man.
Topps Now card is the highest seller of all time.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Vlad Guerrero, I guess, was was the previous high, and Fauci's card obliterated it.
Yep.
For his awful first pitch.
Sure.
And that got you asking me in the break, have you ever thrown out a first pitch? And I said, yeah, I actually did once for the Suns, when they were the Suns. And not to toot my own horn, but I did throw a strike. Like, it was a good throw.
I like it.
But I also said I was nervous.
So,
and you're like, what's the big deal about it? Like, why don't more people throw a strike or throw it close?
Because there's some atrocious ones out there. Some absolute atrocious throws.
But I think it's because of we've seen so many of them.
Yeah.
I think even if you've, like, played the game or if you know, but you think of those. like, gosh, I don't want to embarrass myself. Like, it's a bad swing thought.
Yeah.
Right? A lot like golf.
Yeah.
Where it's like if you take a bad swing thought in anything, well, you're not getting a good vibe going.
But listen, throwing things was ingrained in us since we're like 3 years old. A golf swing is completely different. I don't even have that down. I never will. But, like, to throw a baseball, and I get it, some people grow up playing baseball, but the throwing motion, though, you should be able to get it within the vicinity. Fauci did not.
I agree. I don't understand how you. And
how
you used
do you
to be an
mess up
athlete.
that bad? Yeah. Oh man, it's just so. And because there's no crowd there, so there's no pressure. It was a bad throw.
What I don't understand, like, I'm trying to equate to something that I would look that awkward at doing.
Ice skating? Or are you good at ice skating?
No. That might be.
That's more incentive for us to go.
Awkward.
Then that's more incentive for us to go with the Iceman and do a practice.
Yeah, but I just don't think that's like. I don't know if that's apples to apples.
Okay.
You know, I'm talking about
throwing a punch.
Here's what I would maybe throwing a punch, but here's what I would look awful like I can't dance. Like, if I had to just get up and dance. But I think there are a lot of people like that can't dance.
Come on, man. You like an electric slide in there somewhere. I know you do.
Nah, not
really.
Nah.
Really?
I mean, maybe I have an electric slide.
Yeah, don't sell yourself short. Now you're in good shape. Don't sell yourself short, Brent. You can do electric slide.
Yeah, deep down, actually, I feel like if I would ever just let it go, I probably could really dance. That's what I tell myself.
Yeah, exactly. If you just.
But I'm usually. And
if you take the safety off and just let it all go.
Just let it go.
Yeah.
Kind of like the hair. Just let it go.
For sure.
But I don't. The problem with that is I don't let it go. I feel like everybody's watching me dance.
That's a good point. Well, see, and this is where your basic beverages start to come into play a little bit.
You need a lot of them.
You need a little liquid encouragement. You know, by the time the fourth or fifth beer hits, well, then screw it, man. Any dance you name, let's do it. Cupid Shuffle, let's get on that dance floor. Kuz's wedding, let's do it.
All right. Kuz, have you pushed back the wedding yet?
Not yet.
You just going with the flow, man?
Well, I mean,
that was a little Eeyore right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, we're just waiting to see kind of what happens. Like in Philly, they just said till February of 2021, you can't have more than 50 people in a building. So some family members about to find out who we really care about. Real quick.
Here's the thing. I was gonna say. I mean, it might be a blessing in disguise for you because now you don't have to worry about. Well, hey, sorry, great aunt Patricia, can't invite you. COVID-19.
Can't make it.
Take a seat. Sorry.
Just
we'll get you next
send
time.
100 in the mail.
Exactly. Hey, we'll get you next time. Sorry you couldn't make this wedding.
Her dad was joking over the week because we were down there with him. He's like, $40,000 to get married this weekend. I was like, done. Let's do it. And Nicole's like, we already got a dress. I was like, cool. We'll take a picture in the dress when it comes in.
Say no more, man. Let's go.
Absolutely.
Wait, you don't have an Aunt Patricia though, do you?
No.
Okay, I thought you. Okay, good.
No.
That'd been pretty awesome.
I'd take that like any day of the week and twice on Sunday.
What's that? Having an aunt named Patricia?
No.
Oh.
Run away with the cash.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
We have had the talk, though, like if it gets to April 16th of next year and we had to move the wedding date, are we still going to just legally get married then and then celebrate another time?
Yeah.
I got good news. If you're a soccer fan and you like Fulham wins 2-0, so that helps them in the playoff. That 4-for-1 playoff. So still some work to be done, but they win today 2-0. So there's your soccer update.
Don't they call that nil over there, Brent?
2-0, yeah.
Yeah, I got you, man.
It's like don't say tie, say draw.
Yeah, right. Don't say field, say pitch.
We had a Twitter conversation about that, or maybe it was an email, but I think it was a Twitter conversation about draw versus tie. The guy got really angry. Speaking of being angry, got this today.
Yes.
After doing Action Sports Shack's primetime last night. I've been a longtime viewer of Action News and Action Sports. However, it's very difficult to watch currently, mainly due to the appearance of, let's just call AKA George Washington's hair and your hair not long ago, talking to me.
Yeah.
This is addressed to me. Yours is looking somewhat better now, the guy says.
That's that guy's opinion. But
last night, you two were giving us the notion that the hair deal was something funny that we like. However, nothing could be further from the truth from the people that have visited us.
Wait, what?
I guess they've had people visit them and say that it looks awful.
Okay. Are these sponsors? Who are we talking about here? Just some random.
They also say, I would suggest that you check with John Bachman, Mike Burish, Ben Becker, Garrett Biedenbaugh on how they get their hair cut.
Great sets of hair. I mean, John Bachman, obviously the first-round pick in terms of hair.
He closes with this.
First-round pick.
Looking forward to real sports starting back and also normal-looking anchors.
So here's the thing. And I saw the picture that you posted. And yeah, I mean, obviously it's a thing.
Aggressive.
It's getting out of control. It's aggressive. But here's the problem with it. You're not embracing it, man. Like you're literally, the house is on fire right now and you're taking a bucket of water and trying to put it out. When all you need to do is just, hey, let it go ablaze and let the insurance take care of it, man. It wasn't your fault. So I'm saying you don't got to gel it down.
I know. I tried something different. I went with the slick car salesman look last night.
In my opinion, not working.
Look.
Yeah, it's the Dunleavy look. Exactly, from the 90s. Not working, man. I'm telling you. No gel, just that good old Jack's Beach sea salt kind of air flowing through it, and you're ready to roll.
I had to represent the Italian in me.
I got you.
Yesterday.
Go get a shine box.
Try. I knew the other guy would be Puff. So,
is there any more pressure? What's the latest? You guys going to figure something out here?
Man,
or we're just going to get more hate emails?
The problem is, one of the things with the hair is the other guy's getting encouraged and people lying to him and say, like, it looks good, so keep it going. So now all of a sudden, like, when we want to go get it cut and do some charity thing in the next week or so, now he's running with the compliments.
He's going to ride this out.
And saying we're going to ride the wave. They just don't have the heart to tell him. He's surrounded by yes men.
Yeah.
George Washington was surrounded by yes men.
He was. Well, he's still, first president. You kind of got to be, I guess. But
so that's a problem.
Yeah, it's a problem. And we tell it like it is around here, Brent, okay? Stop gelling. That's right. Stop gelling and just let it.
ESPN 690. We're not yes men.
Not yes men. We're telling like it is. Let it flow.
Let it go.
Yep.
College football should make a decision soon. NBA bubble, will it work? It didn't for one.
What's up, Lou? All right, so
this is what they're all afraid of, right?
What's that?
This is the lifestyle of an athlete that people are afraid of. This is what I tried to tweet out the other day that I couldn't find the right tweet for.
But you said young players. Lou Williams is older than I am.
True.
All right, this
is supposed to be
all
players.
All players. Yeah.
Listen, if you got a craving for wings, you want wings.
Listen, man, okay. here we go. Okay, let's get into it right now. Lou Williams supposedly had to leave the bubble for a friend emergency, right? I think, did he go to a funeral or something? Was it like a friend's?
I heard it was a funeral.
Okay, so it was a funeral. Jack Harlow, who is he even 21 years old yet?
No, but he has a really popular TikTok song and song in general.
Oh, no, the dude's talented. He's putting Kentucky rap on the map. I like Jack Harlow a lot.
He's good.
He's young. My question is, why is Jack Harlow hanging out with Lou Williams at Magic City in Atlanta? So, Magic City, a gentleman's club. Jack Harlow takes a Snapchat. Oh, might as well, get my rating up a little bit and take a picture of the NBA player. Puts it on Snapchat, gets called out, then proceeds to say that, hey, this was a picture from a long time ago, and I just missed hanging out with Lou Williams. Lou Williams wearing the mask from the NBA bubble. Jack Harlow, what are you thinking?
Worth a try.
Not worth a try.
It was a B+ effort.
Take the L. Just take the L. But
I was way ahead of this pandemic stuff. I've been wearing a mask for a while.
Here's my thing about Magic City, though. Never been there. Heard a lot of great things about it. It's got a fantastic Yelp review. Check it out. But in terms of... And keep in mind, Lou Williams has his own, I think, wings named after him at Magic City.
Oh,
so
really?
The guy's a regular, okay? So
he's a regular.
Not his first rodeo. But I've never gotten the whole point of going to a gentleman's club and eating. To me, those are two things that I don't want to mix. It'd be like eating dinner, watching like a horror movie. You know how horror movies are kind of unsettling? And it's like, oh, I don't want to see that when I'm eating. No offense to all the fine ladies at, the gentleman clubs, but I don't want to go have a nice entree and a meal and then watch women in front of me. That's weird to me. Is that just weird to me, or do you guys agree with that?
Well, in your relationship to the horror movie and unsettling, it's a little weird. But
it's unsettling to me, too, at a strip club. I'm eating wings, watching people. Come on.
The very first Yelp review is Lou Williams approved. Great
That's what
place
I'm
to
saying.
pick up food.
You better believe it, man.
That's great.
Lou's bringing it.
That's classic.
I don't get the whole mix with meals. And listen, the last thing I want to go is go to a place and have some legs and some eggs. I don't need to do that, man.
I know, but that's a thing.
I know it's a thing. And I know people live by that. Well, they don't live by that philosophy, but a lot of people go by that philosophy. I've never been one to do that. I want my meals in restaurants, and then I want my entertainment in entertainment spots. I don't want to mix them together.
Yeah, well, so you're not a big fan of the drive-thru.
I'm not.
The gentleman's club.
Hey, I respect the hustle, but I'm not going to do it myself. Hey, if I'm going to Dave & Buster's, I go to Dave & Buster's for the games. I don't go for the burgers and the fries. Yeah, they're decent, but I'm going for the games, man. Dave & Buster's.
They're glad you're paying for the food, too, though.
I bet they are. That's how they make their money.
When we come back, why is Kyler Murray in the top 100 but not Gardner Minshew? It's next on ESPN 690. I call them 3 shirt days. That's when the summer heat in Jacksonville just sizzles. It's relentless, and you want to be prepared for it. Bold City Heating and Air will help you do that. Nothing worse than sweating in your own home and wondering, hey, what happened to the AC? We've been there before. Your air conditioning unit needs to be ready for the heat. It might need to get serviced. The hot weather is here, and Bold City Heating and Air is here for you, just like they have been for my family the last couple of years. Right now, it's $25 off an annual maintenance. Bold City will thoroughly service, clean, and test your system to ensure it is working efficiently. Then you'll be comfortable this summer, all summer. After the $25 off, it's just $70. Book your maintenance service now and save. Save now, beat the heat. Visit boldcityac.com or call 904-379-1648 to schedule. Mirza and his staff are ready to take care of you and your family. Be bold and beat the heat and make it a one-shirt day, even in the summer heat. Go to boldcityac.com.
Thinking of a new ride? Waiting for a sale? Well, if I got great news for you, because this isn't just any sale. No. This is big. It's the Big One sales event going on now at Arlington Toyota. During the Big One sales event at Arlington, you can get 0% for 60 months on 10 new Toyota models. That's 0% for 60 months on 10 new Toyota models. No one does the Big One deal like that. And at Arlington Toyota right now, they're giving you no payments until 2021 on your new Toyota purchase. purchase. That's right, you make 0 payments until 2021 on your new Toyota. And with every new vehicle purchased from Arlington, you get a lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Plus, you can buy with total peace of mind thanks to Arlington's 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. The Big One sale just keeps getting bigger, and it's happening right now in Arlington Toyota. Shop them in person safely at 10939 Atlantic Boulevard or online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/Big One sale for full details. Security experts recommend that if you have a do-it-yourself alarm, don't use their alarm signs or stickers. Why? Because it tells crooks exactly which system you have, and some signals can be jammed with a common garage door opener. Yes, the equipment is built that cheap. It's not been tested by UL Laboratories, and the DIY company selling it has no license. They use a third party. It just doesn't measure up. That's why thousands of business owners and families trust SafeTouch Security. All SafeTouch systems are custom designed for each installation and installed by state-certified technicians and are covered by a lifetime warranty. The SafeTouch two-way communicator provides the fastest possible response time with an 8-second average. All monitoring is done from the SafeTouch 24-hour monitoring center, giving you peace of mind for you and your family. SafeTouch Security has been protecting you and your family like no one else for 35 years. Go to safetouch.com today for a free home consultation. State license number EF0000233.
Let's say you have ED, male impotence, or maybe you suffer from PE and can't satisfy your partner. If you have either or both of these embarrassing conditions, Prime Men's Medical Center has the solution. Meet Dr. Rabinski, a specialist in men's health.
If you're experiencing ED or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center has custom blended medications designed just for you. There's no pain and no surgery. If you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues, not a problem. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, Prime Men's Medical Center has patients lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. You'll see results on your first visit guaranteed, or your visit is free. And best of all, it's affordable.
For a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians, call 904-206-8105. We guarantee that you'll see results on your first visit, or there's no charge for your consult. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now at 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Time for an oil change. Don't sweat it. We'll help you find the products you need for the job. Regular oil changes keep your engine running smoother, and doing it yourself will save you time and money. We have all the products you're looking for, from oil to oil filters. And next time, you can get what you need even faster. Just order online at AutoZone.com with our free same-day store pickup. Getting your job done just got easier. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what covering your bases is in baseball, right?
Of course, making sure you have no holes in your defense.
Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless, and you'll pay up to 50% less than big carriers and still use their same networks. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G.
And no contract, no mystery fees. Fully covering your bases for 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Savings may vary. Check out terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Time for more summer savings.
No other jeweler in North Florida can beat Beard's Diamonds. And now with their 5-year zero-interest financing, you can go even bigger.
Save on everything. Rings, earrings, bracelets, pendants, wedding bands, all designer jewelry, all colored gemstone pieces, and all diamonds. 5 years, zero interest, and no money down.
Beard's Diamonds, located at the St. John's Town Center.
Come in, see the difference, save thousands.
The Army National Guard plays a vital role in your community. We're on the front lines supporting essential personnel, first responders, law enforcement, and medical professionals, delivering food, supplies, and medicine, keeping communities safe, making a difference. During emergencies, we're always ready, always there. Learn more about part-time service in the Army National Guard at nationalguard.com.
Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard. Aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
They're breaking all the rules at Diamonds Direct with an unprecedented store-wide sale going on now. Save 20% and more on an expanded selection. Rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, including trunk loads of all new designer pieces flown in from around the world. But hurry, this first time ever 11-day sale ends this Sunday. In-store, online, and virtual. All options open. All merchandise included. Even thousands of engagement rings on sale. An extraordinary sale for an extraordinary time. 20% savings now through Sunday only. Only at Diamonds Direct.
Off Town Center Parkway.
the aftermath of 13 total Marlins players and coaches testing positive for COVID-19. The Orioles-Marlins games tonight and tomorrow in Miami, and Yankees-Phillies game tonight in Philadelphia all postponed. The Marlins played in Philly over the weekend. ESPN's Carl Ravitch.
We're reminded with this outbreak just how difficult it is to conceivably contain it, especially when one or more members of your team get it. So this is nightmare scenario number one for Major League Baseball.
NFL Chief Medical Officer Alan Sills told ESPN's Kevin Seifert the NFL has no immediate plans to shift to a bubble concept in response to the news of the Marlins outbreak. The Vikings are moving forward with tomorrow's mandatory reporting date for veterans for training camp, despite a positive coronavirus test for the team's head trainer. He had no recent contact with players, the team facility being sanitized. The Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference has canceled fall sports due to health and safety concerns amid the pandemic.
Cover all your bases with Straight Talk Wireless. Get the same networks as big carriers, only pay up to 50% less. Get the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G for just $45 a month. Only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
First Take, your take. You see injuries happen every single week that end seasons, potentially end careers, certainly derails dudes for weeks upon weeks at a time. So if there is one sport that has survived by being able to afford losing bodies along the way, it is the National Football League, because it happens to them every single week. First Take, your take, from 1 to 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
It'll definitely be different. I feel like all teams are taking the same precautions pretty much of social distancing mainly. So I feel like when it comes to like practices and stuff like that, they're probably going to, test us, whether it's temperature or just a regular COVID test before we can go on the field. I feel like when it comes to like meetings and like lunch, anything that has to do with being around one another, we'll have to be distanced away from each other. So I feel like it'll mess with the team camaraderie a little bit, but at the same time, we have to do to stay healthy. So that's more important.
That is Jawan Taylor, Jaguars right tackle, second-round pick, second-year player. Expecting big things out of Jawan and that offensive line in 2020. And talking about COVID-19, coronavirus, and how the NFL is going to deal with it, how Jags administration and players are going to deal with it, and coaches. Well, this just in from the Jacksonville Jaguars. They've placed Connor Slumpka on their active non-football injury list, and have also placed rookie cornerback Luke Barco, Devon Hamilton, one of their draft picks, another one of their draft picks, Josiah Scott, and rookie offensive lineman Trevor Wallace-Sims on the reserve COVID-19 list. So once again, on the COVID-19 list, Luke Barco, Devon Hamilton, Josiah Scott, and Trevor Wallace-Sims. I hope I'm saying all those names right. Gosh, I got to get to know these guys. That's what's strange about not being around there for camp and everything else. But obviously some recognizable names. Barco is Barku. I think it's Barku. Is one of the highly touted undrafted free agent. But Devon Hamilton and Josiah Scott were draft picks. And so those guys go on this reserve COVID-19 list. And they're not the only ones. Minnesota just came out, including Justin Jefferson, wide receiver out of LSU. He got put on the list. So this is what's happening. Welcome to the new norm. The rookies show up last week. They get tested a couple of times. And who knows if this was the first test, second test, whatever. But now that they're in there, some of the tests are coming back positive. And now they'll have to quarantine and then take tests and test negative before getting back into the swing of things.
And listen, especially when we're talking about the rookies, man. I mean, you're already behind the 8 ball this year. You already missed out on so much, whether it's rookie mini camp, OTAs, or just regular mini camps. And now you're behind the 8 ball again, missing out on probably the first couple weeks of practice. Hopefully they can get back ASAP and obviously start, when padded practices start back up, they're ready to roll. But especially if you're trying to make a team right now, Brent, if you're on the outside looking in, you got to get those reps in, man, or else you're probably not going to make a team.
Well, so now what? Now what? And I'm trying to look it up just to make sure we have. You need negative tests to get back into the fold. We're going to see more of this league-wide. It's just a matter of how many. And that's what they've built this for these first couple of weeks. I mean, they've basically said first 7 to 10 days are COVID-19 testing, acclimation, if you will. You can do virtual things. Then you can get into the conditioning and the workouts. But even that has to be, I believe, in groups of 15 or under. And then you can ramp up to the on-the-field stuff. There's some walkthroughs in there as well before you get to the on-the-field stuff with helmets and everything. But this is why it's built like this. This is part of the precautions to make sure not everybody's getting it. What would be – how unsettling is it? You just mentioned the rookies miss a lot of times, but is it unsettling as a rookie? Because now I can't get in there. Now I can't do everything I'm supposed to do. I think people know it's going to happen.
No, I mean, listen, people know it's going to happen, and every single team is going to have to go through this stuff. My point is, if you're a rookie right now, there's just so much going against you. Like it's supposed to be like the first day of school. You're supposed to go in and find out where everything is. And now you're like that transfer kid where you come over from a new school and you're behind on everything, right? So you have to introduce yourself, meet everybody. Like that's what these rookies are going to be going through right now if they have COVID-19 right off the bat. I mean, they're behind the 8 ball. You're trying to make a team and you only have a couple weeks to do that. And if you catch COVID-19 off the bat, man, you're just setting yourself up, unfortunately, for failure. Not saying it's these players' fault, man. It happens and it sucks. You have to deal with it. I'm just saying from where they're sitting right now, it's got to be a rough one to think like, all right, I'm going to be out a couple weeks now, and then I got to come in and try to earn a spot on this team.
Yeah, and thanks. Stuart Weber just shared this with me, too, because Jags have sent out a little bit of a release on it. I was reading some of their tweet that of the players that are on this list, and I think it's important to say reserve COVID-19 list because as you read through this, it doesn't mean they've tested positive necessarily. They could be quarantining because somebody they know tested positive.
Okay.
So there is a little bit of a distinction there. And I don't know if we're going to figure out if there is a positive test or not, because later on down here, the players and player agents are not permitted to disclose a player's reason for placement on the COVID-19 list. So, again, it could be they tested positive. It could be they know somebody, so therefore they're in quarantine. So it's an interesting distinction there. But nonetheless, it puts them on that list. And that is obviously for the first time in NFL history, a list that didn't exist before.
Yeah.
And we're gonna walk through this and get through this and kind of figure it out. But same with Justin Jefferson. Same with the other. I think there were 3 others for the Minnesota Vikings put on that list. A lot of players are going to be put on this list, but it could be a family member, could be somebody they might have come in contact with, the whole tracing system that so many businesses are doing. And that's just the nature of the new world in the NFL. But that's also why they're doing a lot of testing. What's interesting is I guess unless a player comes out and says, hey, yeah, I had it or have it. But it sounds like that might even be discouraged to a degree because you don't have to disclose any of that stuff.
Correct.
Much like happened for a lot of folks. We talked about that. I mean, not even associated with the NFL anymore in that respect. Tony Baselli.
Yeah.
People said, okay, well, why did we just find out about it now or whoever? Some folks told people right away. Some people didn't. But it will be up to probably players to say it.
It's their choices at
Remember,
the end of the day.
Ezekiel Elliott, too, was upset about it when it first came out, remember?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, it's up to, every single player. They can approach it their own way. For me personally, I'd probably be 100% transparent right off the get-go. I mean, might as well. Doesn't pay to kind of hold it in. I mean, I think it's important for those players to announce it themselves, not have somebody else do it for them. But I think being upfront and transparent is probably the best way to go about things.
Yeah, so once again, just so if you're just catching up, the Jaguars have placed a few players, 4 of them it looks like, on the team's reserve COVID-19 list. An important distinction here is a player who tests positive for COVID-19 or, and this is a big or, who has been quarantined after having been in close contact with an infected person or persons. And so Luke Barku, Devon Hamilton, Josiah Scott, and Trevor Wallace-Sims on the team's reserve COVID-19 list. That is what the latest is from the Jacksonville Jaguars. And a lot of the teams are starting to do this, by the way, is put people on this list. All right, let's talk some top 100. Kyler Murray, number 90.
Yeah.
Gardner Minshew, not on the list.
Uh-oh. Freak out.
What do you think about the top 100 list, by the way?
It's pointless. It's absolutely useless. It was a conspiracy designed by the NFL Network to get people talking about football. That's all it was.
It's a downtime killer.
Yeah, I mean, hey, and I don't want to be the giant spoiler for people out there. You should know this already. They don't poll the entire locker room and ask who the top 100 football players are in the league, all right? Because back when I played and they had the top 100, nobody got asked who you think the top 100 is, okay? So we don't know who's making these calls. Someone should probably look into it a little bit, but it's not football players, at least not the Jacksonville Jaguars, maybe some other teams, but the Jaguars didn't. Now, yeah, some players get that leverage. Some players get that advantage to go on the show and talk about it. But this was all developed, like a lot of things in sports are, is to cause an overreaction. It's to cause an overreaction and say, well, he shouldn't be there. He shouldn't be there. Listen, it doesn't matter if it's me, if it's Brent Martineau, or anybody else. If you list your top 100 players 10 times out of 10, someone will disagree with that list. And I'll probably disagree with you regardless. So with that being said, I don't put too much stake into it. I think it's fascinating to get the players' perspective. I watch the show. I think the show is great because I like getting the other players' takes on their peers and their comrades and things like that.
It's something that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but as far as taking it seriously, absolutely not. To me, the top 100 is right up there with Madden ratings.
Yeah, good fodder.
Yeah.
By the way, it's interesting you say that. Not all the players get, but I feel like the players hear narratives and go along with narratives. Very few players, I think, have a distinct, have done their homework and knowledge of whatever topic. I would think. I don't think they waste their time doing it. And so I think they're watching Good Morning Football as well, and that whatever's on ESPN or whatever's floating around social media, and I think they kind of follow the narratives. Well, it's interesting out there is the narrative about Kyler Murray is he's going to be one of the next big things.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I know I do kind of always take exception to Kyler Murray's love versus Gardner Minshew's love.
You better believe it.
And I should, because he was 5-10-1 and had not worse, but less numbers than Gardner Minshew. Yet he makes the top 100.
Well,
but that's exactly my point.
Rookie of the year, though, too.
Oh yeah, he was, even though he shouldn't have been.
Well,
yes,
fair enough, but he was.
But again, those narratives that get put in place, sure. I think the players fall in love with that stuff.
Yeah, I mean they do. Listen, it makes for a great conversation, right? Even the whole Keenan Allen thing, that's something, and I don't know if Minshew's going to speak out about Kyler Murray. I don't think Minshew honestly really cares about it, but we'll see what happens there. NFL players are the supreme of the supreme in terms of being competitive. Okay, there's a reason why you make it to the league in the first place, because you're the ultimate competitive person. So when you're quote, and I say this with the biggest quotes of all time, when you're quote unquote teammates and peers around the league, supposedly cast their votes and rank these top 100 players, well, obviously it gets the competitive juices flowing because, once again, quote unquote, it's all your peers saying that, well, this player is better than you. This player is better than you. You're better than this player. And obviously, in terms of competitiveness, that's going to be talked about, right? Where it used to be talked about in locker rooms and once again, texting conversations. Now it's for everyone to see on social media. And it's for everyone to see on the NFL Network when they have the top 100 players. So I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to get a rise out of football fans, and good. I mean, it's obviously working. Everyone's talking about it. There's probably going to be more outcry to come. But I'm just saying, for me personally, seeing the ins and outs of the top 100, I don't get too worked up about it.
Yeah, I don't think you should either. I mean, it is fun as well. Let me ask you this. Who belongs on this list going forward for the Jacksonville Jaguars? Calais Campbell obviously was on it. let's leave Yannick Ngakoue because we don't know where he's playing or what he's going to do. Josh Allen is a future resident on the top 100 list.
But keep in mind, though, it's from last year.
It's from last year.
Yeah.
Well, I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying going forward, it looks like only Calais will be on that list.
Gotcha. But you're saying, okay,
now
going
after
forward.
Going this year, could Gardner get on that list? Will Fournette be on the list? Will Josh Allen be on the list? Will Miles Jack be on the list? Will DJ Chark be on the list?
So let's go ahead and let's put Josh Allen for sure. I'm going to go ahead and put, I think he's going to have a lot of tackles. And if that's the case, then yeah. So I'm going Joe Schobert.
Ah, good.
I'm going to go, does Minshew make the top 100? You know what? Let's have some fun. Let's put Minshew in the top 100. I think so. I think in terms of making a name for himself, let's go ahead and put Minshew in the top 100. So that's 3. Man, it's hard to pick any more than 3, right, Brent? And you got DJ Chark out there. I'm going to go Minshew, Schobert, and Josh Allen.
Minshew, Schobert, Josh Allen. You leave out DJ Chark potentially.
Yeah.
Linemen are not usually on that list. I think Miles has a chance to be on that list potentially, and we'll see if anybody else emerges. I would say down the road, maybe not in this rookie season, Laviska Shenault will be one to watch.
Sure.
Love the idea of it, and you have to have some success to get on the list.
Mm-hmm.
You also have to think about what I just said about the branding part of it. And that, like, Minshew has a chance to have the branding part of it around the league, of course. I think Fournette already carries that. I think Josh Allen has to take a step in that regard. I think Jaguars, when they talk about their defense, they looked at Calais Campbell. They looked at Yannick Ngakoue. They've looked at other players. Jags have been loaded with some star players, really, over the last few years, guys that have done well. Allen isn't there yet. He did go to the Pro Bowl, so that might help.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll have to take a step up to get league-wide consideration for that. And the other Josh Allen made the list.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
What number
was
he?
He was like number 87.
Okay. Yeah.
That's interesting because I didn't know he'd get that kind of love from his peers.
But once again, though, keep in mind, the Bills had a pretty good season last year, so that helps.
They did. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you got to give credit along the way to the quarterback for sure. Yeah, I think when the Jags are bad or coming off a bad season, that top 100 list kind of gets swept under.
Yeah.
You're really not concerned about it. Calais Campbell, though, once again making it, establishing himself. Did you see some of the stuff they put out there, like the Ravens? I didn't see that pool video before. Like he was in the pool.
I saw that. Yeah.
Where's that video from?
No idea.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah. I watched that Calais Campbell thing. It was cool.
Yeah. It was pretty good.
Yeah. Well, and I like too. He said like he's down to do the dirty work, right? Which is, listen, if you're a Ravens fan, that's what you want to hear, because it's one thing to get the sacks, it's one thing to get the tackles for losses, but I love Calais Campbell's answer where he's like, I'm willing to do the things that the other defensive linemen don't do, and that's why I'm still successful. Like that was a pretty good attitude to have, and he's right.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Kyler Murray, Gardner Minshew continues to be a topic for me.
It does, man. Kyler Murray is like your kryptonite. Like, I mean,
the funny thing is, I kind of like Kyler Murray. I think I like the
he's a baseball guy. Yeah, how could you not like Kyler Murray?
I just don't like when. Listen, Arizona. Maybe he's made them relevant. It's the DeAndre Hopkins stuff. It's the Kingsbury fireplace. But he should be. I don't know if he should be getting this much love. I mean, I just don't think he's done enough to get this much love.
Okay.
But you get the Rookie of the Year award. I guess that Pepsi Rookie of the Week didn't matter enough. The mustache can't even do enough. The aviator glasses, the jeans, shorts, whatever.
Don't fall in love with the gimmicks, Brent. Fall in love with the player on the field.
And the stats that they have.
Yeah. I mean, are you a little bit of a hater, though? Just a little bit?
I'm
a kind of a hater?
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm not a hater at Kyler Murray. I'm a hater at the situation.
Sure.
I don't like all the love for one player when the other players been even better or a better story, really.
Yeah, no, I hear you, but let's take off the teal-covered glasses real quick.
I get you.
Who do you think is going to do better this year, the Cardinals or the Jaguars? Who's expected to do better at least?
Well, the Cardinals are expected to do better.
There you go.
Expected.
There you go.
Is the word.
Well, there you go.
Top of the show, we said Keenan Allen and Mike Evans, and the Keenan Allen stuff we talked about a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really think that was straight out of WWE or one of these wrestling things? You think that was contrived?
I mean, I don't think it was like necessarily like scripted. I just thought that Keenan Allen thought, know what? I'm not getting a lot of respect. Let me go ahead and put my name out there in the airwaves. Let me get some more branding opportunities. That's all that was. Yeah.
You like it?
Why not? I mean, hey, listen, so social media is a great tool to increase your brand. It's a great way to showcase your personality, to get people either to like you or hate you, but either way they're talking about you, so your brand goes up. Like, hey, I'm all for Keenan Allen. I think Keenan Allen, a guy who, I think he's properly ranked, but I think that he's underappreciated, undervalued, and I think what a better way to get people get people's radars as to talk some smack and kind of have some fun with it. So yeah, I'm all for it, and I think it is a little scripted.
Yeah. Hey, Kuz, let's take a time out here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. We come back, we'll put a bow on the show, give you an update on some of what's going on across the NFL. COVID-19 reserve list is going to be a list that people follow, and it's really a list that will be an uncertain follow, as we mentioned with some of the Jags players that have now been placed on there because you don't know if they have tested positive for COVID-19. They may have just been quarantining, being around others in that situation. That's the latest couple of rookies, a few rookies really, 4 of them in fact, tested on that list. We're also seeing it across other teams with the NFL, Justin Jefferson and others. So that's all coming up. We will take a break. When we come back, we'll update you on that information and so much more in the world of sports here on a Monday. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Scattered showers and storms end early this evening, becoming partly cloudy, warm, and muggy overnight in the low to mid-70s. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jack's Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where for a limited time, you can get 5 years, 0 interest financing. You don't want just any old sale. You want the biggest sale with the biggest savings ever, right? Then you need to see my friends at Arlington Toyota today, because they're having the one big-time sales event. Want low payments and 0 down? Then get to Arlington now, because during the big-time sale, they have over 100 quality pre-owned cars you can buy at 0 down and $199 a month. That's no money down and $199 a month for over 100 pre-owned vehicles. How about choosing from 50 quality pre-owned trucks and SUVs that you can buy at 0 down and just $269 a month? That's no money down and $269 a month with over 50 pre-owned trucks and SUVs. Plus, with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everybody approved. You even get Arlington's 30-day exchange policy for total peace of mind. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. What are you waiting for? It's the one big-time sales event going on now at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/big-time-sale for full details.
Deep into the summer months in Northeast Florida, hotter weather means your family should be drinking more water, more clean water. With a Connecticut system from CGC Water, they remove up to 99% of contaminants. That's clean water. CGC Water is offering a free A200 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Connecticut Premier softener. Connecticut Premier softeners are non-electric and have twin tanks, making them super efficient, saving you money. Schedule your free water test today. Get peace of mind knowing your family's water is safe water. CGC is taking extra precautions with in-home visits following CDC guidelines, including no contact sales and service appointments, with all employees wearing masks and gloves at all times, and employee temperature checks every morning before they send out their team into your home. Remember, a free A200 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Connecticut Premier softener. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Connecticut dealer.
This is Pastor Abraham Lincoln Washington, and it's time for the truth. The two most powerful words, and at times most painful words, are the words, I'm sorry. But remember this, when you say you're sorry, it's far better to show how sorry you are. Talk is cheap. Actions speak louder than words. This has been Pastor Abraham Lincoln Washington, and the truth will make you free.
WFOX Fox 30 has been removed from the service of Dish Network after the satellite provider refused to agree to a fair deal for a new retransmission consent agreement with Cox Media Group. If you're affected by this decision to deprive you of important local news and programming during these critical times, make your voice heard. Call Dish today at 1-800-333-3474. That's 1-800-333-3474 and demand that they put Fox 30 back on Dish.
Do you know a child who is deaf, hard of hearing, blind, or visually impaired? The Florida School for the Deaf and Blind in St. Augustine is a fully accredited, tuition-free state public school that gives children an edge for a lifetime of success. FSDB is nationally recognized for its educational services designed for students' unique communication and accessibility needs. Eligible pre-K and kindergarten through 12th grade students benefit from small class sizes, advanced technology, and various recreation, extracurricular, and performing arts activities. Transportation and boarding services are free to any eligible deaf or blind student, kindergarten through high school, no matter where the student lives in Florida. My name is Trent Ferguson, and I'm a proud graduate of this wonderful school. This place changes lives. To learn more information or to apply for enrollment, call 800-344-3737 or log on to www.fsdbk12.org.
Security experts recommend that if you have a do-it-yourself alarm, don't use their alarm signs or stickers. Why? Because it tells crooks exactly which system you have, and some signals can be jammed with a common garage door opener. Yes, the equipment is built that cheap. It's not been tested by UL Laboratories, and the DIY company selling it has no license. They use a third party. It just doesn't measure up. That's why thousands of business owners and families trust SafeTouch Security. All SafeTouch systems are custom designed for each installation and installed by state-certified technicians and are covered by a lifetime warranty. The SafeTouch two-way communicator provides the fastest possible response time with an 8-second average. All monitoring is done from the SafeTouch 24-hour monitoring center, giving you peace of mind for you and your family. SafeTouch Security has been protecting you and your family like no one else for 35 years. Go to safetouch.com today for a free home consultation. State license number EF0000233.
They're breaking all the rules at Diamonds Direct with an unprecedented store-wide sale going on now. Save 20% and more on an expanded selection. Rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, including trunk loads of all new designer pieces flown in from around the world. But hurry, this first time ever 11-day sale ends this Sunday. In-store, online, and virtual. All options open. All merchandise included. Even thousands of engagement rings on sale. An extraordinary sale for an extraordinary time. 20% savings now through Sunday only. Only at Diamonds Direct.
Off Town Center Parkway.
The economic difficulties caused by the current pandemic is affecting the survival of local small businesses. Many have had to close or greatly reduce operations. How well prepared are you to gear back up once conditions begin to improve? Will there be enough working capital to do so? Take advantage of this time to participate in a SCORE webinar or meet virtually with a counselor to get some ideas on developing a business recovery strategy. Register for a webinar or schedule a confidential mentoring session at jacksonville.score.org.
Celebrate your love with end-of-summer savings now at Beard's Diamonds.
Right now at Beard's, take advantage of 5 years zero-interest financing.
Yes, 5 years, zero-interest financing with zero down.
How about a $6,000 Tacori or Veragio ring? You pay just $100 a month.
Or a pair of diamond studs for $1,500. You pay just $25 a month. But it's only for a limited time and only at Beard's Diamonds.
Located at the St. John's Town Center.
Thinking of a new ride? Waiting for a sale? Well, if I got great news for you, because this isn't just any sale. No. This is big. It's the Big One sales event going on now at Arlington Toyota. During the Big One sales event at Arlington, you can get 0% for 60 months on 10 new Toyota models. That's 0% for 60 months on 10 new Toyota models. No one does the Big One deal like that. And at Arlington Toyota right now, they're giving you no payments until 2021 on your new Toyota purchase. That's right. You make 0 payments until 2021 on your new Toyota. And with every new vehicle purchased from Arlington, you get a lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Plus, you can buy with total peace of mind thanks to Arlington's 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. The Big One sale just keeps getting bigger, and it's happening right now at Arlington Toyota. Shop them in person safely at 10939 Atlantic Boulevard or online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/Big One sale for full details. Security experts recommend that if you have a do-it-yourself alarm, don't use their alarm signs or stickers. Why? Because it tells crooks exactly which system you have, and some signals can be jammed with a common garage door opener. Yes, the equipment is built that cheap. It's not been tested by UL Laboratories, and the DIY company selling it has no license. They use a third party. It just doesn't measure up. That's why thousands of business owners and families trust SafeTouch Security. All SafeTouch systems are custom designed for each installation and installed by state-certified technicians and are covered by a lifetime warranty. The SafeTouch two-way communicator provides the fastest possible response time with an 8-second average. All monitoring is done from the SafeTouch 24-hour monitoring center, giving you peace of mind for you and your family. SafeTouch Security has been protecting you and your family like no one else for 35 years. Go to safetouch.com today for a free home consultation. State license number EF0000233.
They say it should be impossible for bumblebees to fly because their wings are too small for their bodies. But bumblebees don't care. They just fly. Bright Expectations is dedicated to helping our Florida residents with special needs and unique abilities find the resources, support, and inspiration that they and their families need to break barriers and achieve their dreams. Visit www.brightexpectations.com to start your journey today.
This message is sponsored by the Florida Department of Health, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
From First Take to your radio.
Here's the reason you gotta be worried. Do we really think that the recreational activities are going to be compromised for 3 months? I mean, somebody's got to say it. You in Orlando for the first month, you got to be alone. Forget 3 months. They gonna struggle with 3 weeks. Why you think they won in Vegas?
First Take, your take from 1 to 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
When you think about who's going to be successful or not, it's going to be continuity. You know, when you think about the teams that are returning their quarterback, their play caller, it's just a massive advantage. And let's look at the NFC East. You talk about guys like Joe Judge. He's never been a head coach before, and now all of a sudden, Daniel Jones has never taken a snap with him. You don't know protections or ways that certain nuances of your offense are going to run. And it's going to take a while. And you think about Washington and Dallas, all those teams will have growing pains. Now, Philadelphia is light years ahead of those other 3 teams from a continuity standpoint. I think the teams with those advantages will have a huge, huge advantage over those teams that are going to be truly learning on the fly.
I think that was Mike Tannenbaum with ESPN. Yep, former GM of the New York Jets. And yeah, I mean, to me, you know, Tannenbaum's he's stating the obvious for sure. I think that if you want to break down the Jaguars and how they kind of rack up to ideal to not ideal situations regarding, you know, this season and COVID-19 and all that stuff, listen, let's be honest here. You're bringing in a new offensive coordinator with a new offense, a new philosophy, new play calling. Supposedly, you're going to maybe run some kind of variant of a defense, but once again, I mean, I don't know what to even think about that anymore. I'm just going to have to see it to believe it at this point. It's too hard for me to call what kind of defense they're going to run because I haven't got a straight answer. I haven't read a straight answer yet. So I think the defense will be a little different, though. You do have a little continuity in terms of Gardner Minshew coming back, I guess. But once again, new offensive coordinator. He's going to have a new receiver in Chenault. And you have a pretty solid, at least fundamental pillar with Leonard Fournette. So you have that going for you. I think the one thing, though, more than anything right now, is that the Jaguars have going for them is the fact that they have a couple guys that are playing in contract years. And what do I mean by that? I literally mean that if they do not perform well this year, regardless if they're going to be here in the following years or not, they don't get paid. Okay? In terms of the hierarchy of priorities of NFL players, yeah, sure, it's winning Super Bowls up there, maybe glory, all that stuff. But money has to be a top 3 with everybody. Everybody likes money. Who doesn't like getting money, right? And the only way you get money is preparing for obviously training camp and preparing your body through the gruels of the season and then performing when your number gets called. So with that being the case with guys like Leonard Fournette, guys like D.D. Westbrook, I believe guys like Cam Robinson, there's a lot of guys that have an incentive to play well this year. And I like that. I would much rather have that than be tied to a bunch of guys who just, we just got new contracts. Let's go ahead and chill in the cut and we're going to be okay. No, give me the guys that have money to play for. Give me the guys that have something to prove. That, to me, is what you want on a football team. So at least the Jaguars have a few guys like that you could probably get the most out of. Now, once again, they have one of the youngest teams in the NFL, if not the youngest team in the NFL. That makes you a little nervous as well. But at the end of the day, listen, it's not going to be ideal for anybody. I don't care if you're the New Orleans Saints. I don't care if you're the Seattle Seahawks. I don't care if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or you're on the outside looking at maybe like a Jaguars team or a Dolphins team. Doesn't matter who your team is. No one has the ideal situation right now. But to me, what it comes down to, and I've been preaching this, man, for the past couple months now, it's the coaching. This is going to be the year of, you're going to find out who the real coaches are, who the great coaches are, and who the pretenders are. And it's as simple as that. Because the primary job of a head coach necessarily maybe isn't calling the plays, unless your name is obviously Andy Reid, Doug Peterson. But I'm talking in schematics. Mostly the job of a head coach and every single NFL team is to get you guys ready to play. It's to adjust to the trials and tribulations that you face and to make sure that you guys have all the tools needed to succeed on that field. And what a better way to showcase a head coach's philosophy, a head coach's coaching skills than the COVID-19 pandemic. So I'm excited from that standpoint. And once again, I've said it before, I don't want to hear excuses. I don't want coaches to go, well, it would have been different if we had so-and-so. It would have been, no, because it is a fair playing field. This is the fairest it's going to be. Now, yeah, you may lose a star player a couple weeks. You may lose a star player here. But guess what? Injuries happen too. And I don't hear coaches all the time using injuries as excuses, so you can't use COVID-19 as an excuse either. So going forward, once again, this is going to be, to me, the year of the coaches. And to me, it's going to be the year of, is Doug Marrone going to be the guy going forward or not? Because I'm not sure how Shad Khan thinks about this. I'm not sure how the front office thinks about this. But the last thing I want to do right now is write a mulligan on this season, okay? Like, the last thing I need to do is write a mulligan about, well, you know what? We had some players get COVID-19. We weren't all together. We had a young team, so that's an excuse. Not an excuse. Not an excuse. Step your game up, be a head coach, and let's see what you got. So I can't wait to see that. Other breaking news right now out of the MLB. So White Sox skipper Rick Renteria right now has been hospitalized in Cleveland as a precautionary testing for the fact that he woke up this morning with a slight cough and nasal congestion. So he's going to remain in the team hotel while the team travels and until he gets his COVID-19 results. So once again, that's White Sox skipper Rick Renteria is in the hospital right now. But it's as a precaution, though.
Everything will be that way, precautionary ways. Have you also read a couple other things? Mostert, who wanted to get traded, restructured his deal to stay in San Francisco. Yeah. A couple of cool things happened in the world of sports the last week. Kyrie Irving committing a bunch of money to WNBA players who opted out. Which is pretty cool, like $1.5 million, I think it is.
And did you see that the WNBA sweatshirt was the number one selling sweatshirt on Fanatics the past couple of days?
I didn't.
It was like the number one selling item in terms of merchandise was a WNBA sweatshirt.
Really?
So that's cool.
Why?
I think because, the season's back now and they're trying to promote it and everything and they're trying to support the ladies. So, yeah, I think people are buying into it.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yep.
So it wasn't buoyed or anything by this.
I mean, it might have been, I think any promotion's good promotion, right? So it might have been buoyed a little bit, but yeah, the WNBA sweatshirt right now is the number one selling thing on Fanatics.
I didn't mention this last week. I also thought this was cool, though. Roy Williams, UNC basketball coach, donated like $600,000, I think, to help the spring sports scholarships at UNC. Again, I kind of tweeted that too, and I was like, listen, Roy Williams got a ton of money. I mean, I know $600,000 to Roy Williams probably is like us making a $20 donation. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
But it's still, I thought it was a cool gesture because a lot of times, I'm guilty of this. I say it all the time. I think football and basketball can be very egotistical on campuses, and I think the coaching can be a little egotistical in those professions in college sports. So to recognize other student athletes, and there's probably more of that goes on than I even admit or give credit to.
Yeah.
But I just thought in this instance, I thought that was pretty cool that Roy Williams did that. So that was pretty good stuff. We continue to see some pretty neat stories coming out of this crazy time in our world. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Coos on a Monday edition of Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. I think you might have. I'm sorry, I had to go run down and do some TV stuff real quick.
All good.
On CBS 47 and Fox 30. That was like Superman-esque, by the way. Changed into a suit.
Oh, yeah?
On TV.
Suit top or just with the top and
Did
bottom?
the whole thing.
Dang,
Didn't know where I was going to be.
That's quick.
And then back up here.
Nicely done.
In, I mean, it was probably about 12 minutes.
And your heart rate seems like it's back down to the green zone, so you sound good.
I mean, the biggest, the heart rate was, how am I pronouncing these Jags names that I've never even met? I got to make sure I get that out.
That's stressful.
And we did.
You're a better man than I am, yeah.
I think when I was coming back in, though, I think you might have been discussing this. I actually had a conversation earlier today with somebody, and this stems a little bit from the conversation we had a couple weeks ago when we said, is there something the Jags have internally from a leadership standpoint or anywhere else that this time frame will expose in a good way or a bad way? So it's something they don't have, because this is going to be a wild time as a coach, wild time as an organization. And so there's much thought that whoever handles it better will do better, even on the field, potentially. So my point being, do the Jags have something like that? Well, we took it a little bit step further in this conversation I had today, and I thought it was interesting. Are the Jags positioned to maybe take advantage of this time because of their youthful nature, or will it backfire on them? You've been in locker rooms. I think my perception is young players will be kind of front and center and listen and all ears and, hey, whatever I'm supposed to do, lead the way, tell me. So therefore, if you're supposed to be in your bubble and you're supposed to have all these check marks of don't go here, don't do this, we need you healthy.
Yeah.
Are the Jags more apt to have a roster and a team with all their young players and some of their players that are in contract years and the situations they're in to listen to what Doug Marrone is saying? Maybe more so than another team that might be a little bit freewheeling and free-dealing, like whether it's the Seattle Seahawks, who usually are given a lot of leniency under Pete Carroll, or even Atlanta. So I'm not sitting here and trying to tell you that the Jags are better on their roster than those teams, but could they be of more discipline during this time, more bought in during this time, that it allows their players, their main players, to stay on the field more and therefore put them in a better position in 2020?
To answer that question, is the head coach important to that? Absolutely. But he's not as important to that locker room leadership, the veteran leadership that's been appointed. And let's be honest right now. You lost Calais Campbell. You lost A.J. Boye. I think you have Miles Jack going forward. You have, like a Brandon Linder has been in the system. Avery Jones, obviously. To me, it comes down to, do you have the leadership in place to monitor that, right? Because a coach can only do so much. And a captain or a guy with that leadership quality will always be heard more than the coaches, right? In the locker room, coaches have their own offices, right? The coaches don't hang out in the locker room. That's for the players. That's for your teammates. So with that being said, if you can wholeheartily answer the question and say, you know what, I like what the Jaguars have at leadership right now, I think they have the pillars going forward to be successful, then that's the answer to your question. If the answer is, well, you know what, I don't know, man, you lost Calais Campbell, you lost Boye, they're the youngest team in the NFL right now, are there enough pillars in place to be successful? If that's your answer, well, then that's the answer to the question.
Yeah, that's a good call. I guess the answer to the question would be yes, they've lost leadership. They lost Calais Campbell. They lost A.J. Boye. But they bring in guys like that have been around a little bit, and Joe Schobert. They have leadership in Chris Conley, you would think. Yep. I think, Minshew's going to have to feel like more than a second-year player. I think some of their linemen who've been around the block a little bit, whether it's Linder or Norwell, again, they have a mix. I even think guys like they bring in like Rodney Gunther. I don't know if he's a leader per se, but I do think there's probably a respect level of him playing around the NFL, and same with like an Avery Jones.
So there's a respect level, just like with Schobert, but once again, they haven't really met a lot of these players.
No,
yet.
they really haven't.
You know,
like,
to me, regardless of what your accolades are before you got to Jacksonville, you still have to earn your stripes. You know, you still have to earn that leadership. And right now, for lack of a better word, they can't because they haven't really met anybody.
Well, I guess what I wonder about is almost like, you know, like that cliche we hear in coaching sometimes, where like we had such a young team, they were too like ignorance was bliss.
Yeah.
You know, where they just didn't know any better, you know, and it all came together. They just used their talent. They didn't know any better. I almost wonder if again, I think this goes two ways. One, you're so youthful that you make young people mistakes and you're not all on board, and it's this adaptation in this crazy year is just too much. Or ignorance is bliss, and you're like, I'm just going to do what they tell me because I'm in the NFL and we're going to go lockstep here. And the veterans, I don't care if I've met them before. They've done this before. I got to follow their lead.
Sure.
You know, to me, it's like one way or the other. It's not really I don't think you're going to get a mix of that. And I wouldn't even know. Doug Marrone probably doesn't know what his team is at this stage in that sense. He doesn't know what kind of leaders he has and hasn't witnessed enough of it probably, and also doesn't know what kind of followers he has in these young guys. So, but I guess my question to you was more, do you find when you were a young player, how much did the rookies soak it up and be like, I'm going to do what this guy tells me to do. I'm going to follow this guy's lead. Or do they say, I'm in the NFL, man. I made it. I don't need to follow X, Y, Z.
Listen, I've told this story many times before with Aaron Campman, where Aaron Campman was one of the first people in the stadium every single morning standing in the cold tub and then foam rolling. Wasn't going to do that, Aaron. Sorry. Yeah. Wasn't going to get up at 5:30 in the morning and go stand in the cold tub and freeze my you-know-what off. And then on top of it, wasn't going to take a PVC pipe and foam roll it out because, you know what? Not comfortable. Hurts. I don't drink coffee. I need to sleep. Okay? Simple as that. Now, looking back on it, did Aaron Campman know something I didn't? Absolutely. And he gave every opportunity in my rookie year for him to, to allow me to kind of follow him. And I didn't take it because I thought I had it all figured out. So, that was my personality. Now, obviously, not everyone shares my same philosophies. Not everyone shares kind of my same story. I mean, everyone's different in that locker room. But I just think right now, in terms of where those rookies stand, Brent, it's going to be an absolute whirlwind for them. So they have to. Literally, it wasn't like when I was a rookie where it's like, all right, we had the symposium. We go to the symposium. We had rookie OTA. Okay, we did that. Then we had OTAs. Then we had minicamp. By the time we were going through all those minicamps, we're like, can we just start the season already? We get it. We got it. Let me try to make a team. That's where we're at right now. In terms of the rookies this year, it's like we have no idea what to expect. I have no idea where even the meeting rooms are at. So with that being said, they have to grab a veteran. Listen, and if any of them are listening right now, you better take heed to my warning. You absolutely have to grab a veteran, and you have to watch how they do it. Because if you don't, you're not making the team. Unless you're a first-round pick, unless you're Chase on, which I assume will do things by the book, you're not going to make the team. Because there's no time. You can't afford anything right now. You're starting your first day of work in the trenches. There is no adjustment period. There is no all right, well, let's get you 2 weeks. Let's get you acclimated here in the office. Let's get you acclimated here on the radio. Oh no, first day you're here and you're live. Let's go.
Yeah, and now obviously the news within the last hour. Some of those young players, their first move in the Jags building was to get tested for COVID-19, and now we don't know if they tested positive, but one way or another, they're either positive or in quarantine because they know somebody else who had tested positive, and there's 4 of those rookies that made that list if you're just jumping in. That's what news came out today. So there is a lot to juggle for a rookie. Just got on Twitter, it was King Solomon says, young players staying disciplined with a lot of crying emojis. Yeah, I understand that. I also don't know if there's as much to not stay disciplined about with the way the world is right now. Everything's not free reign, and who knows what it looks like by the time seasons start. Even traveling on the road might not look like it's been. You're not going all the place. Again, the restaurant restrictions, the travel restrictions that are going to be in place. Have they created enough of a bubble, I guess, that young guys are just going to kind of say, all right, tell me what to do and I'll do it. And I know that seems a little pie in the sky. I get it. But I also wonder if they, just because they don't know any better, the way the NFL works and the way the NFL is, and you really don't have a lot of – it seems like the locker room the Jags have, they tried to get most of the drama out of it. Mm-hmm. You know, Jan obviously comes with a little drama, but not from a personality standpoint, more from a situational standpoint. But they've tried to get a lot of the drama out of it, so I don't know who will create those situations. Now, there's always players that will create a situation, whether it's Lou Williams or not.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they have as many as they did the last few years to be influenced in that way, if that makes sense.
No, true. And when we're talking outside, like off the field, then as far as distractions are concerned, like, I don't really foresee like the whole Yannick Ngakoue thing will be happening, but that's business, And obviously, if you're a rookie or if you're a young guy, you're going to learn that really quickly. You're going to be very versed in that this season because you're going to watch how the whole Yannick Ngakoue thing unfolds. But to me, in terms of a young team, it works both ways. This works off the field and it works on the field as well. Let's talk about on the field real quick. Let's go back to 2019 real quick. The Jaguars are the most penalized team in the entire NFL, okay? That leads to undisciplined stuff. And now you're going to bring in the youngest team in the NFL. I mean, there's going to be a pretty steep hill to climb to try to right that wrong of last year, okay? Because once again, and I preach this, and it's pretty obvious, but I'll say it one more time. The Jaguars, to me, are not good enough to overcome all the penalties. They're just not.
Yeah.
They're not the Kansas City Chiefs of a couple years ago, okay, where you can get away with it because you have a Patrick Mahomes, because you have Travis Kelce, because you have Tyreek Hill. You don't have those guys. No offense to those guys in the locker room in Jacksonville, but you don't have those guys. So you can't be committing penalties. So once again, it's got to happen off the field for sure to stay healthy, to make sure that you have your whole team. You're not doing something foolish in the clubs or in the bars and stuff like that, but also you have to be smart on the field as well.
You think there are some teams that are majorly concerned about their personnel and personality of like, whoa, we got to rein these guys in and we got to stay on that? Because again, that's part of the conversation is how do we manage it, right? Yeah. How do you control it? How do you kind of create your own little bubble? Sure. And not just the first week you're there, not just heading into the season opener, but this is like 4 months worth of it.
See,
potentially.
And here's the hard thing, and especially for young teams, but veterans alike, like a Lou Williams in the NBA. Like, you can try to modify, or you can try to get a player to go along with what you believe in, right? You can get a player to run your type of scheme. You can get a player to buy in to try to win a Super Bowl. You can get a player to follow your philosophies. But it's hard to change a player and his personality habits and his traits, okay? With that being said, every locker room's got guys that like to go out. Every locker room's got guys that like to go out and party, have a couple beers, and unwind. Every locker room has that. And it doesn't matter how many veterans, how many captains, how many great all-pros you have on your team, you're still going to have the guys that do that just because that's who they are. Like, that's their personality. And it's almost impossible to try to change someone's personality. Like, listen, in a perfect world, you'd be like, hey, man, you probably shouldn't go out after the game because, well, number one, if you drink, it's going to be bad for you the next day. How are you going to recover? You could get hurt. I mean, you increase the risk of injury, things like that. Nobody cares about that. People want to drink and just get away from the life of the NFL a little bit. You think people are like, oh, yeah, I probably shouldn't drink that beer or do that shot because, well, I don't want to have extra inflammation the next morning.
Yeah.
No, man, it doesn't work like that. So
get dehydrated.
Exactly. So I think every team, Brent, is going to endure those problems a little bit. And if I'm being 100% transparent and honest, I'm just worried because we're in a state right now that it is a hot spot, right? Where if you do go out, you're increasing the risk as opposed to being in Green Bay or Minnesota, something like that.
Rookie year in this situation, beach bars still open. Would you have been going out to the beach bars?
I mean, with Joe Cullen yelling at me all the time, yeah, I probably would have been there twice on Sunday. Would have seen you in the morning and in the afternoon. Yeah.
We're in trouble in football season.
What can I say,
We're
man?
in trouble.
What can I say, man?
By the way, they feel like they might be in trouble in Major League Baseball, but they're playing games today. Oakland leads the Angels 3-0, and San Diego over Arizona 6-2. So they're playing ball, but they're not playing in Miami today, tomorrow. They're not playing in Philly with the Yankees tonight. Those Phillies tests are going to be really interesting in this story developing further or not. We'll have an update on it tomorrow. We'll see you on TV tonight, CBS 47 and Fox 30. Welcome back from vacation, Coos.
After a long day, having my dogs greet me at the door with their silly smiles and wagging tails makes me happy. I want to keep that joy with me for years to come. That's why I trust Forever Vet's Animal Hospital